Earth 2020. Society is in ruins, and a virus runs rampant among the world's humble citizens. They are lost. In these dark times, three wayward nerds cross paths at the House of India and realize they are destined to be friends. And so they did. This is their story. The story of the Side Quest.
I might need a whole mix, brother. Put that in a cup and throw the shit in there. Put
That's
that in
disgusting.
a cup and throw the shit
You're
in
gonna
there.
chase it, and you're not gonna be a pussy.
I am.
Are you already recording?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm
Go
glad
ahead.
people will see this.
Okay. I don't give a fuck. I told you I don't do shots.
To not being pussies. Ooh.
All right, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell the difference between toilet paper and wallpaper?
How?
Dude, that's gross. Welcome back to the Side Quest podcast. My name's Matt,
I'm BJ.
What a fucking intro.
and that's Luke.
How you doing? How
That
y'all
was
boys
such a
doing?
lame joke.
What?
That was such a lame joke.
I thought it was such a good joke.
It was an anti-joke.
What? Come on. Go. Gross. Ew. Dude. How do you not know the difference?
Well, you haven't gone to a Home Goods and just picked up some wallpaper for your bathroom?
Home Goods.
I don't know where you buy wallpaper.
That's true. I also don't know where you buy.
I was like, I don't know where I
wallpaper.
I've never had to put up
In the
wallpaper.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, today we're talking about controllers.
That we
I'm actually pretty excited about it. We haven't had a themed episode in a while. We had an original. Well, technically, at the end of last week, we planned on doing controller episodes. So, in the canon timeline, everything's working out as it should. But
For reference, in the real timeline of what's been happening since last week, we had the Nintendo Direct, the PlayStation thing, all on the same day, and today is the RGG Summit.
The Like a Dragon Direct. Thank you.
Whatever.
That's the one we're going to be watching, apparently.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
RGG
it's for
is
English.
the studio.
Yeah. Ryagu Gotoku, I think, yeah.
Ryuga Gotoku.
Which means like a dragon in Japanese.
Oh,
So Like a Dragon Studios made Like a Dragon.
gotcha.
So I'm actually excited to watch that tonight. I need some more. Although,
When is it going to be on?
11 p.m. So yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, do you want to watch it? Because it might
Yeah.
spoil some Gaiden shit.
I mean, it can't spoil that much.
Yeah, I mean,
The trailer spoiled like the entire plot of the fucking game.
I don't know. We'll see. I can always close my eyes.
Yeah, if Gaiden shows up, just be like la la la. So, yeah, but I hope they give us more about Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a big component of it.
the PlayStation Direct or the
The showcase, I think is what they call it. Or
that's
state of play.
today.
No, that happened the same day that Nintendo Direct did.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then
There-
we got the Xbox leak.
Leak happened today,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
The first, before we get into controllers, let's I guess go in order. We all watched the Nintendo Direct, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the important parts.
Well, yeah. For the most part, I mean, a lot of Mario. A lot of Mario. Mario vs. Donkey Kong coming back. We've got
That tells me that it's the end of the Switch's life. They're
100%.
bringing Mario versus Donkey Kong back.
Why does that lead you to believe that?
Because it's just like a little puzzle game.
Okay.
Like there was like 3 of them on the Game Boy Advance.
They had one on the DS, right? Or
Yeah,
were they, yeah.
mini, March of the Minis or whatever. and they've never been like Nintendo's premier game. It feels like they just kind of shit those out.
It feels like they're, I don't know, because we obviously got Super Mario Wonder, which is like a straight up new Mario game. Doing remakes of two beloved classic niche RPGs with Mario in them is one thing, and then you're bringing up Luigi's Mansion 2, so now all three will be on the Switch, which is actually kind of cool. Which a rebranding, it's called 2 now, not Dark Moon on the 3DS.
Well, that's because I think when they made 2, they were like, we're never gonna make a 3. Just call
Probably.
it Dark Moon. But that
And now it's a trilogy.
yeah,
And we'll all be on the Switch, which, hey, is actually a good
the
thing.
first one isn't on the Switch.
Oh, is it not? Oh, no, did it?
They remade it for 3DS.
I swear I thought it was coming to Switch, or it was on Switch.
Mm.
Are you fucking serious? Hold on.
Are you fucking
serious? What were we talking about when that video came up?
I mean, we were talking about the video, but I don't know. It just came up late.
We were talking about how all women are thoughts,
Yeah.
and then. Are you fucking serious? What the fuck?
Damn, all right, no, you're right. I swear that we had all three on the Switch now.
I mean, it's really stupid that the first one isn't on there. They
Yeah.
could just
First what?
bundle it. Luigi's Mansion.
Mansion. I mean, love that game. Grew up on that game.
Yeah,
Spooky as hell.
spooky as shit.
It actually, like, compared to 2 and 3, it actually was, like, pretty, like, creepy.
Because the lighting in the
Were
first
there
one isn't
any?
matched.
I mean, I'm sure there were, but since like Nintendo is more of like a family-friendly, gaming systems, were there a lot of horror games on the GameCube that you?
Resident Evil Remake was, like, the big one.
RE4 was exclusive to
Yeah.
GameCube when it came out.
Really?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a while there, that was the place to play Resident Evil, because they had the Resident Evil 1 Remake, RE4, they ported 2 and 3 to it, with in, like, native GameCube discs and everything, so...
Really?
Yeah, so you could have had Resident Evil 1 through 4, and then 0, I think, came out as well. Or was that one a multiplat?
I think that one was multi-platform, but it was on
It was on GameCube as
GameCube
well.
day and date, I think.
They obviously had... I mean, shit, how many, like, niche horror franchises? I think Silent Hill was on GameCube as well.
I think at one point it was.
So, like, they've had... I mean, there's exclusive
The
Silent Hill
Fatal
games for
Frame
Wii.
stuff that was only like a Sony.
No, Fatal Frame was
On
Wii.
GameCube as well.
I know it was on Wii. I don't know about GameCube.
I want to say it's been mostly Nintendo.
Oh,
I want to say like it.
I don't know why I thought it was like a Sony thing.
Well, I think the PS2 ones were multi-plat with GameCube,
Gotcha.
maybe, and then when it got to the Wii one, it was like, okay, Wii only, and then
No pun intended.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you kind of ready to get into controllers?
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Well, do we want to?
You want to just talk controllers first, real quick, and then get into the tier list? Or how do you want?
Yeah. I'm gonna get the Google Sheets set up so I
Alright.
can keep track of everything.
Let's just go ahead and let's rip the Band-Aid off. What do you think, and if you can make a case for it, is the best controller out there? Because
I'm gonna say Series the Elite controller. I've always
specifically the Series 2, like the not the first one that popped up,
and
but
the
second one.
only reason I think that if we're talking now that we're talking tiers and stuff like that, I think Xbox controller form factor is like A to S tier. I think it's so comfortable to hold, and then with like all of the little things you can do
Bells
with the
and whistles.
bells and whistles that the Elite controller comes with, I think takes it up to one of the best controllers. I will say, I know this is really, and we'll probably add it to the actual ranking system, but navigating menus with the Wii controller is very easy and intuitive. You just, I know that's weird to say.
Pointing and yeah.
I really like that instead of like me having to go like down, side, like on other stuff that I have to do. Like if I'm browsing my Xbox game library, I could just like use the Z axis to scroll all the way down, and then there's something about that I really liked. and I might be in the niche, group that really liked at least menu systems in the Wii.
Yeah, I mean,
when it worked, because there were some times like if that Wii sensor bar was old enough, there's times where you're having to like fight. Like if you weren't at the perfect length away from it, you had to fight that thing to point to where you necessarily want it to go sometimes.
that is true.
But I mean, yeah, no the point and click idea was like actually really solid, and like anytime I'm like playing like Twilight Princess, where you're just drag the item and drop it to your inventory instead of cycling through my whole inventory system to get something.
I mean, to be honest, it's like not a miracle. I mean, just Nintendo's just a good company that's very thorough, but it like the ability to, no matter like the size of your TV and how far away you were, being able to set it up so it worked. I mean, there was times when like you would set it up for the new time and you were like, it has to find it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you would just go. I mean, it felt like I'd point towards the corner and the little hand would be in the corner.
Say what you will about Nintendo, but like I feel like they never go half-ass on their gimmick or their thing for this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every Nintendo IP game that was on the Wii U utilized the gamepad extensively. Though every game on the Wii was like motion control as the point. Like there was always a reason for their thing, right? Switch is like, all right, like it's the handheld portable but also goes on the screen thing, and like it works. Like the Switch's like home screen is something that works just as well looking at it on handheld and then on a giant TV.
Yeah, it's very simple. I really like that about the Switch. That's my favorite controller is the Switch Pro, the first party one, not the
Shitty third party ones.
shitty third party. Only Walmart has this variant kind of thing. Like those controllers are just made so well. They're not terribly expensive. They're all USB-C rechargeable. And every time I need a phone charger, I'll dig out one of those Pro Controller cords. Because those Nintendo chargers will last for 10 fucking years and totally be fine. I've had one in my car since the day it came out, and it's just never died.
What were you talking? Sorry, I was setting up the
Switch Pro Controller was his.
They're really, I mean, they're very similar in the shape of Xbox controllers. I think what it comes down to is I regard a lot of those, especially, it's super similar in the form factor, but I have never liked, I mean, even though I had a PlayStation 3 all through high school, I mean, that was like during my generation of growing up in high school, PlayStation 3 was the system I had. The thumbsticks at the bottom, I did not like. I just didn't like it.
I think as far as PlayStation controllers go, the one that I feel like fits the best in the hand is probably the 4 for me.
I would say the 5, but maybe that's because I've gotten so used to it.
I will say it's also because they like did this with the legs. They finally put them sideways with like the PlayStation 4.
They were just like,
or 3.
The PS3's controller was a PS2 controller that was wireless. That was the difference. And then you either had the 6-axis or whatever the fuck it was, or the DualShock 3.
Dude,
there was two different ones.
Dude, remember? I'm so glad that in society today, like everything is now, even iPhone everything is converting to USB Type-C, because it would drive my mother mad. How many different, I mean, we were talking, I think it was off pod about the portable DVDs that we would have, and like every brand would have a different
proprietary charger,
had a different like socket size, and so we would, anytime we would lose it, we'd go to Best Buy and have to buy like the travel pack, which had adapters for every single size, and it cost like $45. And my dad was like, "Fuck it, if the kids can have their freaking DVDs in the back seat, I don't care how much it costs." But like, I mean, because the PlayStation 3 had that micro USB, which it was like not the macro USB, which had like the little like the curve in and stuff like that. They
moved to micro for the PS4, and then now I think it's just USB-C.
Right? I mean, USB-C is so nice because you can put it in any way. It's not. I'm glad we're living in the future.
That's part of the reason why I love the Switch Pro so much. is because it is USB-C. It's rechargeable. The battery life is fucking long, and then like it doesn't have LED lights and shit built into it, where I have to, fucking worry about that draining the battery all the time.
I will say this. This is kind of we were talking off pod about the Microsoft leak, and
that new controller looks whack.
It does. I kind of like.
Hope,
it looks.
That two-tone thing. I'm like, there better be just a solid color thing, because if that's what the controller looks like, I'm not fucking buying it. I don't care how spells and whistles.
Well, what they were saying is they're fully converting to rechargeable batteries, and the guy, I was watching a YouTube video about it, and he was like, "Thank God, it's about time." And I disagree. I do. I know this is such a hot take. I'm really sorry, our fans in there. I love the batteries, because what I get to do is I get to go, oh no, your batteries die. I pop in 2 new batteries fresh. I don't have to worry about charging it, connecting a cord.
I vastly prefer that over PlayStation, where you have to sit 3 feet from the console.
I fucking hate. That's the worst. I'm serious. I am so like, and I know out there are like rechargeable battery packs that for the Xbox,
and I love those things. You just
those
buy
are great,
2 of those.
But for me, it makes more sense to have an 8. I have on our kitchen a 8-slot AA battery charger, and that I think is perfect, because no matter what, last night or 2 nights ago, I had like a water pick, one of those water flossers, ran out of batteries. I threw in the new rechargeables, put in the old ones. It doesn't matter, in like a month or 2 weeks, when that thing finally runs out, I'll swap them out with new ones. And so it's like every single thing in my house that runs off of batteries, I have rechargeable US or AA's. So I really like that, instead of having to, like, people come over and I'm like, fuck, the Pro controller's not charged. Sorry, guys.
Those are really nice for the Wii too. I'll just pop out the batteries, put them back in the dock, and then just swap them out.
Yeah, so I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but I really like the fact.
I mean, as long as you have a swappable, rechargeable solution, I think that the Xbox controller is the best for.
As someone
sort of
who
thing.
games at a desk, give me the fucking cord all day, because I have no batteries near my shit. So, plus, I also, to be fair, I don't own a controller that needs a battery pack anymore. So
It's true. I mean, but it's like,
so all
in
my
my
stuff-
life, I have.
well, yeah,
I mean, including BJ, like Carmen, there's so many devices that we have that use.
it is very different
battery.
in my end, where it's like I'm at a desk anyway, and there's already a USB-C cord somewhere connected to something.
For sure.
So like, it's like I'll just plug it in and keep playing.
And I don't
So, yeah.
mind stuff with like my desk. Like most of the time, what I end up charging actively is my wireless headset, and that's fine. I can wear it and have the cord right there.
Well,
Not a
I got
problem.
the Elite controller has that like little charger like dock thing with it. So I just have that like plugged into my Xbox and on the other side of the desk. So anytime I'm done, plus the Elite controller has a fucking great battery life. But I'll just plop it on there every time I'm done playing, and it just charges up, and then take it off. And I probably have never had the thing go, your battery's almost dead. So I'm just like, cool.
I've experienced. This feels like a very relevant issue for me, because I've been playing so much Starfield on the Xbox, and I've been playing with my Elite controller, which has been an amazing experience. But I've been running out of battery way more than I used to, because I haven't been using my Series X barely any since I've gotten my PC, and it's been really fun. I've liked that I've been able to sit on the couch, play video games, have drinks. Carmen can sit right next to me and do her homework. Like, I like the aesthetic of being able to couch play. But I've been running out of like juice on my controllers a lot more than I have ever remembered doing so. And because I've been playing with my Elite controller, I'm like, fuck, I gotta charge it. I gotta remember to charge it, because I tomorrow I get home and I want to play, and then I'm gonna have to.
I mean, that's why
worry about a cord.
For the most part, and this is just now like habit forming for me, but because I'm at a desk, like on my PS5, I have like the shortest USB-C cable possible that I just will like plug my PS5 controller in whenever I'm done using it and just dip. And I come back, yank it out and start using it, play, and then that's that.
I
Plus,
will say
on connected to my Switch is a longer USB-C cable. That is when
I will say if I was
choose to
on
charge
my
and play.
desk, I have again going back to controllers, I genuinely one of the best gifts I've gotten from Carmen from the help of you guys was my Gundam controller, and then I got the Razer Xbox dock with it, and whenever I'm done playing with it, if it's not in here, and so that makes sense, and that's super easy because it looks great because it's right on my desk. It's my aesthetic. I have my white PC, my white keyboard, my white Google Home.
Yeah, I was gonna say like from playing on a couch, it's probably gonna be different in the sense of
yeah,
like,
and my couch I just throw it on, just
you
put it
throw
on the table.
the table, and that's that. Versus like I'll set it on the charger station. Yeah,
for sure. So for you, I mean, and me, it's like on the desk. It's super easy and not a big deal.
So yeah, it'll probably be something that you're gonna feel more than I am, where it's like you're gonna be playing on the couch, like, oh fuck, I gotta charge this.
Yeah.
I can't throw batteries in here.
Uh-huh.
Whereas someone be like, hey, you should probably charge it, and just keep playing.
For sure, for sure.
So I mean, I know why they're doing it, obviously, because it's just because everybody else, like, yeah, I think you're right in that. I think most people don't want batteries. Because I don't think most people.
I agree.
So that they're doing it because they are the last.
But I will say it's
doing
a very much like dad thing. I know it's weird. Like, I mean, growing up, you had a drawer full of batteries, right? Or like in my case, growing up, it was the refrigerator. That's where I learned it from. Or the freezer. I mean, we kept the batteries in the refrigerator or freezer because apparently they made them last longer. Apparently, it does nothing.
Shocker.
PJ broke my world one day. It was like, honestly, probably like 3 months into moving in, and he's like getting used to stuff, and he goes, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, he ran out of batteries." And I said,
"He said, oh, they're in the freezer." I said, "Why the fuck are there batteries in the freezer?"
And I was like, "Oh, because they last longer." And he's like, "No, they don't." And I was like, "I guarantee they do." And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, "No."
Literally being told like something from your childhood is a lie. Yeah. You've been grown up to believe it's same feeling as being like, what do you mean the tooth fairy is not real?
Yeah. So, but it feels like a dad thing. Like I'm like I got all my batteries and the charger, and if you need them, you just go in and get them. I don't know. It feels very like I'm still stuck in the past, and I'm okay with that. Just like because I'm tired. Like, I mean, this is just life. But like, Carmen. She we're about to leave and she goes like, "Oh, I didn't charge my phone last night. Can I have a cord to take to work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." That happens 5 times, and then like 2 of the times she leaves them. Then honestly,
all your chargers are gone.
And then like somebody at her work steals them because you're like, "Oh, USB charger." Like, yeah, and then they're gone. And it's like I'm always ordering cords. I'm always ordering cables. Like the idea of just plugging in fresh things and they're at 100%. I mean. I would even love that with my iPhone. If I could come home and just go switch out the batteries, have fresh new ones.
I was about to say that.
It would be
in that same vein. I hate that you can't just remove the back of a cell phone anymore.
I agree.
And just pop a new battery.
That would be dope. I mean, even like
I feel like
in
I feel like I don't have that problem, but I think that's just because I've got a newer phone that has. Like,
same
battery
here.
life. But like, I also now I've gotten into that wireless charging shit. So like, well, it's not this case specifically because I still need this to put my shit on my dashboard. But I have a case and I've switched out a couple times that I'll get home, throw that bitch onto the thing. And set it down.
I only wireless charge. I
had the thought, and I'm like, this is getting too far. But I was like, I need to get a wireless charger for my desk, and then one over by my nightstand for my bed, so I can like move. And I'm like, okay, just fucking.
I mean, you can't. I mean, so because I used to have a really big problem before I had phones that had wireless charging, that my like because I'm in construction, I'm working and it's dusty and grimy. I would always be like, plug in my charger, and it wouldn't work, and I'd be like, fuck, my charger's broken. And then I'd take it to the phone repair, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you just got some shit in there." And I was like, "Okay." But now every night I'm like, wireless charger. I slap it on this case, and it's like magnetic, and I can move it. I don't have to worry about it falling out, twisting the cable. So I really enjoy that. But I just wish that I could just get home, swap out new battery. It's 100%. Then the next one's charging for the next morning. I wake up, my alarm goes off, switch them. That would be so sick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Y'all ready to get into some tiers?
Let's do it.
So we got on the controller tier list. We have S, A, B, C, and D. And we're gonna discuss this because last time we did a tier list, it was really fun because we would talk about it and people would bring up other points, and then I'd be like, "Nah, you're right," and I would change my opinion, or somebody else would do the same.
Once we hit it in the tier list, it's not changing. I feel like for the tier list, we got to come together, put that bitch in that tier.
Oh, for sure.
And that's where.
But when we did
the video game of all time thing,
it was
game of the years.
It was
the Star Wars one.
Well, we did that was the bracket.
It was the one we talked about tiers was when we went over IGN's top.
Oh yeah.
Like 75 animated shows, and we were like, nah, fuck that. That's an S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've never been closer to each other when we all said fuck Big Mouth.
Dude, fuck Big Mouth. To this day, it's a terrible show.
I've never felt closer to you guys, especially when seeing the almost elation on Matt's face. Just going, thank you. Oh my gosh, like that was
I need
such
to
a great
re-listen to that episode.
It's such a good episode.
It's such a good episode.
It's a two-parter. It's really good.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I know Millie and Will, they were having to travel for a wedding this week, and they were like, Matt, please put out a second episode this week so we have enough stuff to listen to on our drive and our plane ride. And I was like it meant a lot to me, but at the same time I was like, you can't just like listen to music. They're like, no, we need to listen to your podcast on both the drive and the flight.
I appreciate it, but honestly, just go back far enough. You probably haven't listened to all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the other Nate Zilla in the chamber.
Yeah.
We've also got the late night 2 a.m. You're drunk, I'm tired.
I'm gonna be real with
Talking
you.
about my
don't
sexuality.
think that one's gonna.
Probably not coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that was coming out.
Is that for a Patreon?
Yeah,
I think
that's for the
so.
future
Whenever
Patreon.
that happens,
All right, cool.
we
put that up with the Kevin and Tyler episode.
We can. That's not coming out. That one's never coming out.
You keep reacting to it that way, and I don't remember it being that bad. So I guess I have to listen
bad,
to it.
but it's like, I like.
We didn't say like racial slurs, but we revealed things about us that other people shouldn't know, or at least the general public, because we all love each other.
Yeah.
We don't love the general public.
The general public does not love us like that.
I mean, apparently not from what he's saying.
I don't know. From what I remember, there was like at least 5 times where I was like, fuck, this is not coming out.
I remember that because like even like Tyler was laughing, and I think Tyler even said, "Hey, can you cut that?"
I was like, we're keeping everything, but it's just not coming out.
Yeah, I was like, by the end of the episode, it was like, this is for us. This is for us.
All right. So, do you have a list, or do you want to kind of go off?
I'll go off whatever you have because I didn't build a list. of
Okay,
controllers.
there's a couple that I didn't include that you said.
Let's can I just get the easiest one off rip of a controller? That's
yeah.
pretty bad? Let me just.
my.
I don't know what you got, but I've got one controller that I'd love to hear y'all talk about.
Okay.
It's the just N64 controller, classic.
Dog shit.
Yeah.
The original Nintendo made one is fucking bullshit, and I hate it.
D tier.
D tier for sure.
It's a bad controller.
The control stick on that thing is fucking crap.
It's a small little plastic thing.
Yeah, it
that could
hurts
easily
your
break.
thumb.
Yeah.
It's dog shit. You gotta hold it 2 different ways to play different games.
Speaking of shitty 60.
Well, like because like their whole idea was that you could like hold it different ways. And
no game made me hold it different ways.
No game made me. It was middle and side, never the sides or that way. It was always left hand was in the middle, right hand was on the right.
Yeah.
And then if I had to use the other side, like I think the amount of times I'm like this, like there was maybe one game where it's like right button then move over, but most games just said, all right, the left bumper is now just the Z button. So you're literally like half the controller or 75% of the controller you're not using or whatever the fuck.
I mean, with like Smash, it's like Z controllers grab.
The C buttons are your extra little attacks. Yeah.
Well, you can reach the C buttons.
You got
right? It's just down A or down B.
Well, no, because A, B, and then C was because C was the little stick.
Oh, it was the D-pad.
Was the pad.
It was the D-pad that was on the
D-pad and the bumper was on the left
Okay.
side. The right side was A, B, and the 4 C buttons.
Now, what year did the 64 came out?
60, not 64.
64 actually.
It wasn't it 90 or no, sorry, 97 or 96.
No,
Was it a little bit before that? I feel.
because the GameCube came out in 2000. That would make the.
Because I know Super Mario 64 came out in 97 or 96.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think because when did it?
I got it.
Yeah, that was also, granted it was way older, but like that's when I feel like that was when third party controllers started getting big.
Yeah, I mean there were a lot of third-party controllers for the 64.
This was the one that I was telling you about.
Oh, I've seen that one.
The Super Pad 64.
You had that?
Yeah, but take the control stick away, and it was just a metal pole.
Oh,
We lost the
that
thing.
fucking
Yeah, so
sucks. I mean,
yeah,
that'll come in later
anytime I had
when
to
I
do
talk
anything-
about some other controllers.
yeah, anytime I had to do anything was just this little like stick that hurt.
There was never a good N64 controller until literally like 2 years ago.
The one that like made it
1996 in
yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
1996. Okay.
September 26th, coming up on that
Damn.
date.
So yeah, I feel like console generations got longer as they went on because GameCube was 2000.
Well, here let's.
2000,
I think
but
we
then
should
the Wii was
continue
2006. Yeah.
talking about default controllers for the games for different systems.
Well, yeah, like,
Let's stay-
like we're not gonna if we bring up a third party one, it's just like it reminds like that's
well,
why I
I'm
brought
saying
up
let's
that.
start with just the normal
Yeah.
ones, and then I have a bunch of
Nice.
like special ones that I want to.
Hell yeah.
That's all the ones I have are
So-
special.
so
controllers.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning
Sorry,
and do
the
NES.
Atari. Oh no, sorry.
Well, Atari, it's a stick and a thing.
Yeah, it's a button and a stick. Which did you guys see that the Atari's coming back out? Like they're doing a new version, but it is cartridge based. So if you have your old Atari cartridges, you can plug it back in.
I mean, they make one of those every year at the dollar store.
But this
That's
is
true.
from Atari. It's
Big
different.
whoop.
Yeah, no, really.
They don't make anything
Especially
anymore.
because the newer ones are like mini size that you can still put the like.
Yeah.
I still want to get a Sega Genesis Mini. Those are pretty cool.
All right, so yeah, then I guess NES would be
NES, I'd say
is the
Square or the
Rectangle.
rectangle, and that one it was A, B, and D-pad.
and select and start, and that's it. I mean, for like,
for the time, I think that would be B tier.
I mean, they also were what started the D-pad, right? Like Nintendo is what made that the standard.
I'd also say B tier. I mean, trying to play on a original NES controller, it's too fucking small. It digs into my hands with those sharp edges, but it gets the job done.
It does, and it offers 4 directional inputs and then 2.
I mean, it is
inputs.
no wonder games like Mario and like platformers were so big because like that was like the perfect controller for it. Back, up, down, like A, B, like that's all you needed for those games.
For sure, and it's also better than other there's other older game systems which was like just like a knob, like for like
yeah,
Pong.
like the old Pong machine.
Yeah, like it's just a knob. It's like, okay, we're giving you 4 directional and then 2 optional, so you can have like an attack button and a jump button. It's like that's crazy cool.
Going
for the
back,
times.
well, like seeing also like that was all you need. Like look at like Final Fantasy 1. Just like to navigate.
did that
Yeah,
launch? Oh,
navigate
dang.
menus, and it's just
Hang
like
up
all you
key,
need is A
sorry.
and B, select start, and a D-pad. You didn't need anything else. It was just what you had was what you had.
Yeah, and I mean that controller was used for a ton of different types of games. You had Punch Out,
You
there's
Contra,
Castlevania,
Castlevania,
Mega Man.
Super Mario, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. There's a lot, and I'm honestly, for what it did, I'd say B tiers are pretty solid. I think it's like the middle ground standard you kind of can base the evolution of a controller on, and then how far they fall.
Because the one they did after that, I think
A tier.
A tier for sure.
SNES controller.
SNES controller slaps.
That is a very good controller. Especially they got rid of the fucking square. It's rounded edges, so it felt good to hold.
Feels really good to hold, and that design is still kind of replicated today. Like a lot of the 8-bit do controllers.
Dude, the one that I have, I think I've showed you, is that like almost pro controller version of it that has like
Where they just added like the sticks.
yeah. Well, they added it's 2 sticks. It's like a PlayStation controller, but then they added the grips, so it's a full size controller, but with the SNES side. But Matt, now that you're back, the next controller we just moved on to SNES, and that's an A tier.
So we agreed on B tier
B
though
tier,
for SNES, that was
It's the circular. It's pretty
TikTok was fine.
same thing, but it added it added the X.
Oh yeah, it was like the two circles, and then it kind of like it goes
like a dog.
upside
It's
and
like
then
a
down again.
like
yeah.
a kind of like a dog
Yeah.
bone kind of style. Yeah.
that's it. And that added bumpers.
Yeah, right. It added the
Yeah, the R and L.
R.
Yeah. Okay.
and it added two new buttons as well.
And
with
X and Y.
X and Y, which that's the thing. When everybody says at which X Y placement, A B placement, Nintendo's was always the first.
That's true.
They were the first, and they're the ones.
But
that, in my head,
A
I
being
consider.
confirmed, which is like extremely standard.
Mhm.
I do like that it's closer down
Well,
to the
I will
thumb.
say the best one of that was the fucking GameCube controller, where A being confirmed was just the biggest fucking button that your thumb just rests
I
on.
agree.
Everything revolved around
I
it.
Yeah.
agree. I agree. So
But-
I'm just saying,
but yeah.
I like the button
Oh, no, yeah.
placement
The button
of
placement
where A and B is
yeah.
for Xbox, because A is down low, which is closer to my thumb.
Which, to be fair, it's the same. Like it's the same button layout as PlayStation, where just X is bottom button is confirm, side button is no.
Unless you were in
decides to
Japan,
fucking-
where O is confirmed.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of games still do that.
Damn,
and it
that's
really pisses me off.
wild.
Oh, I would hate my life.
O is confirmed.
Yeah.
Not. Well, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, where it's like O would be like go ahead, whereas X is no. So I get that, but also go fuck yourself. X button means
Yeah.
do.
And
Like X marks the spot.
Yeah.
It's a check mark.
But no,
and then O being, oh no, I don't want to select that.
no,
Oh wait, go back.
oh wait, no, go back. SNES is probably from this point forward. I feel Nintendo has just kind of progressively gets better over time with their controllers. Because from SNES, well, except never mind, N64 is next. So
Yeah,
never
so
mind.
they go
Well,
back
let me
down.
take that back.
there is one more thing in this generation that we need to talk about, and that's the Sega Genesis.
That is
which
true.
Over its life, had 2 different packing controllers.
What? I don't know how I feel because I don't like their.
What's the
D-pad.
second one?
The second one is
I know the original.
they
It's the glossy or the matte black
yeah
glossy
with the
black.
3 buttons on the top.
Yeah.
I think that one for me is A, but the second variant is S tier for me, just for fighting game stuff, because
Because that had like all the like fucking crazy
yeah,
buttons,
it had
right?
it had 3 buttons in a line, and then 3 buttons underneath that, and then the D-pad, and they basically didn't change anything else. It was just a 6-button variant, which
So,
is
yeah.
perfect for Mortal Kombat.
I will say that probably for the time and still today, it's like having. I mean, we only have 4 buttons. You know.
So this was the Sega Genesis controller.
Yeah, I know that.
I
well.
don't like their D-pad.
I think
I didn't
it's-
like how it felt.
I think it's C tier.
I liked it because it was raised nicely and it had a nice mushiness to it.
What tier do you? I think C there because I don't like the feel of it
I'd
either.
probably go C, but that's I didn't grow up with it. I think it's probably a big contender there.
That's
Is it,
true.
like-
I
The-
didn't
the
grow up to it,
Genesis-
and I
the
go
Gen-
back to it, and I'm like, nah.
The Genesis was the console that like the church had, or like any like a friend had. I never had, and anytime I went over, I'd play Genesis. Then I'd go back home and be like, yeah, no, this controller feels a lot better. Like,
I was saying A, so I'll meet you guys in the middle with B.
Okay.
that I will, and I'll give him that where we can move up the second tier one of the 6-button layout. I will say put that one in A.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So
Because I will give you that 6-button one for fucking fighting games, peak.
It's awesome.
It was
The-
legitimately so good.
I would love for us to play the Genesis Power Rangers.
it's still
fighter.
Genesis though, right? It's just V2.
Yeah, it's like Genesis V2 basically. Was there any? Did they do any other weird controllers for Genesis? I know we're not getting into third party, but was there ever anything that was like?
I mean, well, I
Did Sega do?
I don't know if you even have different controllers because the 32X just plugs into the cartridge slot
Yeah.
and is an extra cartridge slot on top of that. The Sega CD might have had something different because that was you actually had to plug it into the port and it was.
Yeah, because I remember, I think I was going through like a controller video last night for this, and I started blanking out because they started from like Pong onward of like its full history of controllers, and I started like just like nodding off in the NES, SNES, Sega. Like
I did because I was like,
"Ah."
I'm ready to bring some weird ones to
Yeah,
talk about because
but
I don't know. It's just fun.
What other was it? Just Sega and Nintendo basically. I mean, Atari was dying,
I mean,
or were they already dead? by that
closer to the end of that generation, I think, was when the PS1 came out.
point? So I guess you want to hit that one next.
Yeah.
So PS1 controller. Now here's the thing. We have to talk about. There are technically 2 controllers like with Sega.
Right,
There's
the original
PS1,
and then the DualShock.
which was the D-pad and the 4 buttons, start and select. Did they have the 2 triggers, or was it still just the 1?
I think it was singular at
Okay.
PS1.
I think so, yeah.
Because then they added the DualShock for the PS1, which added the control sticks,
And then I think the second layer
and
of
it added
triggers.
R2 and R3 and L2.
I mean, for the time,
Non-dual shock.
I'd say it was the best controller.
Which one? Like original PS1 or DualShock?
The DualShock.
Yeah,
The
100%.
original PS1, I would say, is...
Say B tier.
Yeah, I'd say...
It's like a
B.
no,
solid-
it did have bumper. It did have
Both
bumpers
bumpers?
and triggers.
Okay, so PS1 original had that. Nice. I'd still say B tier because it was.
I don't see the
compared to
difference between DualShock though.
DualShock had the sticks. They added a stick variant to.
Oh yes,
control
yes,
sticks.
yes, because it's that one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added one with the sticks. That's what was the DualShock. It was the 2 sticks.
I'm fine putting PS1 on A tier and DualShock on A
Or
S.
Oh, so you'd say DualShock S. I was gonna say B for PS1.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
A DualShock.
Yes, because there are other PS4 controllers that are better. That I
Well,
like
and
more.
then you look at what it was compared to, because the N64
What do you? Sorry,
was
you're-
garbage. Sorry, yeah.
I mean, the DualShock, there is credence to that S tier because they use that same exact design for 4 generations afterwards.
it's.
I mean,
it's true. I mean,
even looking at the DualSense,
the
new
only
one,
reason
It's-
that I like other ones is because it's just built off the same platform, but it's just better technology.
Yeah.
I mean, I will give it because we talked about like the DualShock 4. That one was that was the first time
The
I played a
PS4
PlayStation. Yeah, first time I played a PlayStation game where I'm like, I don't hate holding this controller.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, PS3 controller was.
but I hated the touchpad.
I didn't, but I think it's just because like,
It was a dumb thing to add.
well, for some games, and again, this is the thing where it's like the beginning of the generation versus later, people just stopped using it. There were some of their exclusives that like used it, and it was like part of the experience and whatever, and like it was
That would annoy me.
Well, and
that
then-
I have to like.
Well, like, and that's the thing. After a while, it basically was just a glorified either map button or the start button for a game for some.
Yeah,
of
if
them.
they wanted to get real crazy with it in the end cycle, it would be like, okay, left side is something and right side is
I
something.
did kind of like that. Like in what game was I playing? I think it was Dark Souls or Bloodborne. And yeah, right side of the pad was a button that did something. Left side was what did something.
But-
and I was like,
but
I
at the
like that
same-
because that adds more button layout to what
That's
I can
true,
do.
but if you're talking about controllers with better button layout, I mean, we can immediately go to Elite controller,
Well, yeah, 100%.
which like first gen
Paddles.
which is
Yeah.
paddles. The 4 paddles is like
But what I'm saying
Some of
is
the
like
best.
that was the first time that with Sony that since the PS1 I think that they got it right.
so. Okay, so
So, yeah.
where are we putting
PS1
Gen 1?
Gen 1 PS1 is B, and then DualShock. Would you say S or would you go A?
I'd say A because there are like comfortability issues that I have with it, so it's definitely not perfect. So yeah, I'd say A tier for the original DualShock.
All right. So it's PS1. We've already done N64 because we started with that.
And then we said A tier.
A tier DualShock. Do you want to hit PS2 next, or would you want to start with the Xbox?
Virtual Boy.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
D.
D.
Okay, I hold on. I have stuff I've written all about this. I did my
He was
research.
when I came in. He was doing research on the Virtual Boy, and I was like, hell yeah.
Well, I've done research on
Well, yeah.
a lot of stuff. There's other stuff that I was like, I don't need research on, and I'll just let BJ and Luke talk about it. But there's some stuff that it would be really.
That controller is fucking weird. 2 D-pads, one on one side, one on the other, and then just a myriad of buttons on both sides.
Yeah, and it's a controller that you're meant to never look at.
Yeah.
So like it released in.
Did it come to the West?
So we had 3
Barely.
release games.
It's like Mario Tennis wasn't one of them.
Yeah,
Wario's
and in 14 U.S. releases and 19
Wow. 14?
and 19 Japanese
More than I
releases.
thought.
So there's 22 total games for it.
Not bad.
A lot of collectors make that their first like full collection because it's 22 games.
Oh, that's like an easy one to.
Oh, yeah, it was like you'd be like, I got the whole collection of what? Virtual Boy, and you're like, come on.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
Show up when you've got every single N64 game in their fucking cartridge in their case.
it's
real.
really interesting to see. So I did write it down, the year cancel.
That was NES or SNES? Like when did the Virtual Boy was around those times?
Around
NES?
NES.
It was pre N64.
I knew that much, but I didn't know where, like, if it catered more towards Super Mario Brothers or like Super Mario World, or World.
I want
Or
to say
Land, I
it
guess.
was NES, SNES, Virtual Boy, and then 64.
Well, he's gonna look it up, so we'll find out here in a second. But that was the thing. I personally have never held a
1995.
Okay. So yeah, like right before the N64.
Yes.
Right. So I've never held a Virtual Boy controller. I've only seen it. I saw one at McKay's.
They
and
have
I asked,
really long grips.
I asked the guy.
I mean,
at the
they're like
counter,
4 inches.
They're long and skinny too, right?
Yeah.
that could. It looks, just looking at the controller, it looks like I could just snap it.
Now it
half.
is interesting, like that. The Virtual Boy is like the beginning of Nintendo being like, we're gonna make some weird stuff.
Yeah. Because you lead that right into N64 and where everybody else is
Do
going
you
discs.
think that they're gonna come out, like, I don't know, in the next 15 years with like a Virtual
Virtual
Boy
Boy
2, where it's like a VR?
They would call it like the Virtual Boy Pro. They wouldn't. I don't think they put a 2 behind it, but they would definitely
call it the Virtual Boy.
I think
Virtual-
they would call it New Virtual Boy.
that looks more in line with them. I think they could. I mean, like, that's the thing is
They'd have to have a serious lineup of games, though.
I mean, that's the thing. On the Switch, you can buy core VR games that you can get on Quest for the shitty cardboard VR thing that you have to build.
Oh, that's true. I forgot that was even a thing.
I still have one that has not been built yet. So we could make that a thing.
Dude, have you seen the Funhouse stream?
Where they
where
got high as
they
shit.
get high and they have to like spin a wheel, and it's like depending on what they do weed wise, and then they have to like build
They
different
had to
modules,
build the
labo stuff. Very funny.
Any of their super drunk or super high stuff was the funniest shit.
It
Funhouse
gets
has
me
done.
uncomfortable how drunk they get though in some of
Yeah.
their streams. Like some people have like
L-
9 shots.
Like,
and I'm like,
Lawrence is borderline
An
alcohol
alcoholic.
poisoning. Like,
well, or alcoholic. Like
I
he
mean-
just has how easily he's able to take all that shit. I'm like, bro.
Well,
Elise has like 6 and she gets wacky, and then they're like, just get her some water.
I mean, you say that, but then I drink a whole bottle of rum on last week's episode, and you guys are
Which-
like, I didn't know.
It's true.
fair, but like, I don't know, that shit's wild. But no, I do think they will bring a Virtual Boy at some point.
And then I come in here like, hey, we're taking shots, everybody.
I think they will, but I think VR has to take off in like a huge way. Like right now, it's still
If
kind of
Nintendo has their own idea for it, then it'll happen.
If
yeah.
anything, it might be AR, which is like
I mean,
what
they've done
Apple,
that.
They've experimented with
the
that.
with
3D,
like what
the-
Apple is doing with their
Well, the
their
3DS had that with their one of the like pack-in like little apps was this AR thing, and you could take picture. Like I could take a picture of your face, and it would pop out in this like 3D little ball, and I can literally make like a on the rail shooter game.
But I'm
with
saying like
that.
if it was like augmented reality glasses that had like
Yeah.
you can see what's happening here and have a screen.
I mean, that's what that Mario Kart thing is AR.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You guys, I honestly can't wait for the day where like AR, like you put on glasses and it works.
Well,
I would,
can't.
I would love to live in a world where it was just Sword Art Online,
Like the Ordinal Scale movie.
Yeah.
I prefer like, even though it's dangerous to say so because it's kind of fucked, but having like just like a module where you put in a chip like fucking Cyberpunk. That's the easiest. I don't have to like. I'd like to not have glasses, be able to like have an overlay
Hey, bro,
in my
look,
like bionic eyes.
Look, dog, I've seen how that shit can get hacked in Cyberpunk. No, thank you. I'm good.
I'll be an avid brain dance collector.
Yeah, I was gonna say some brain dances.
Coming to the podcast room one day, BJ's just like
just fully bricked up.
Oh no.
the
So hold on. What are we gonna rate?
D, Virtual Boy D. It's bad. Like it's not good.
You also have to consider the fact that you have to scrunch over a table with your eyes glued to this thing while you're also holding it the whole time.
But it was the first like of the I'd say C. It
But
was the
they-
first.
they-
They're pushing the boundaries.
they didn't have to make it like that.
Okay,
They could have
okay.
just did an SNES controller for
Virtual
it.
Boy is D.
Yeah, it's not like, yeah, I agree with BJ. Yes, it's the first of its kind, but like the N64 controller was the first of a 3D space controller, and they fucked that one up too. So like
Technically,
or I guess PS1, and then instead of following through with that, they were like, no, we'll do it ourselves, and fucked up. So I don't know.
Okay.
Next
controller.
So we did PS1, we do Virtual Boy. Do you
Well,
want?
hold on. We did miss something. If we're going by like chronological,
All right.
we missed the Nintendo Power Glove, which is a controller
Right.
it is a controller.
made in 1989.
Kind of.
Weirdly enough, was not made by Nintendo. It was made by Mattel.
Of course it was.
That makes sense.
And so there
All I know about the
were
Power Glove is it's in a
there
movie.
were 2 games for it. And it was Super Glove Ball, which was a faux 3D puzzle maze game, and Bad Street Brawler, which was a beat 'em up. And they use here. I'll read what I have written down. So there are 2 ultrasonic speakers, transmitters in the glove, and 3 ultrasonic microphones, receivers around the TV monitor. The ultrasonic speakers would take turns transmitting short bursts of sound, and the system measures the time for the sound to reach the microphones, and they use that to triangulate position.
That's fucking ridiculous. They already had a light gun. They could have just
So the
incorporated
location of each of the 2 speakers, which specifies the yaw and roll of the hand.
that. The yaw.
yaw.
The only dimension it could not calculate was the pitch of the hand. So, yeah.
D tier.
I'm also gonna say D tier. Why do you need to triangulate my hand using sound?
Bro, it's in Kung Fury, dude. That's what he.
It's an angry video game nerd too. That doesn't mean I like it.
All right, Power Glove.
It's D tier because that's another thing.
Well, where
like,
would you put it?
I like the idea of it way more than the Virtual Boy. I think the Power Glove, the idea that you're like, I like the idea of it. I wouldn't put it. I'd put it like C. Like
the way he was hyping it as his like at least A guy.
You just sounded so disappointed when we said D. I just had to ask.
No.
Well, I think he's more disappointed than no hesitation D. Like it was just like nope. I mean, look, I'm with you on like that's cool, but like it's like with the Wii. After a while, like the idea of like playing Zelda like this versus I just sit on my couch and just that.
Mario Galaxy is the best game to use the Wii controller because you can just go.
Yeah, it's like that where it's to me it's the same thing with like VR where like it's awesome and it's insane that we can do that. Give me a controller. Just let me sit there like that. I don't want to move.
Well, I like the Quest controllers.
They're really nice.
They're cool, but like again, it's the idea of like for me, it's like when I'm playing a game, I want to sit my ass down with a controller in my hand.
but-
Just do that.
But you can do that with the Quest, and
you
it's
can
just
do
like
it, but it's like with the Switch where you just two Joy-Cons and you're just like sitting there like this.
But it feels way better than
no,
double
100%,
Joy-Con.
yeah.
Oh,
Joy-Cons are not good.
The Switch controllers.
We're gonna put those. That might be a hot take for some, but that shit.
Okay, hold on.
We'll get there.
I will
class
say
action
though
lawsuit.
about VR.
Yeah, do we have a class action lawsuit tier?
There is a really, I think, with first-person shooters in VR, that takes like, even though obviously the graphics are better in like the new Modern Warfare games, or even some of the old ones, to compare to the processing power of the. But I love the fact that I can like reach up and like lean around corners and crouch down however I want to, and like burst fire, so select fire. Like I love that. I think it's so enjoyable.
I'm
to
with
me.
you.
The rest though, I don't have to swing and
until like that's cool. Until I'm just like, just give me the control. Let me do that. I'll keep the VR headset on, but I just sit on a seat and just do that and like do that because like after a while.
I love the fact that I like can drop like holster my gun and then pull out a pistol when I've run out of ammo and just go. Oh, love that! I feel like fucking John Wick.
It feels awesome. I don't think I'd ever do like a long play session of like 6+ hours.
Oh, I
of it.
really would if the graphics were just like comparable to.
And if there was any VR game that lasted 6 hours.
That's fair, yeah. I think that's my biggest problem is that like with the amount of times like I would never like if like Starfield was VR, maybe an hour of that I'd be like nope, controller, and I'm just gonna sit here and do it like that.
Right.
But yeah.
So Power Glove, E tier. Oh, sorry, D tier.
EA Sports.
It's the game. All right. Next, we talked about N64.
Which is also D tier. Do you want to hit? Because we have a couple options. Because I think the next three were
Just shoot.
Xbox, the original Duke controller.
We gotta hit Dreamcast first.
Oh shit! Right, that exists. Dreamcast.
What does that one even look like?
Oh, you don't know what Dreamcast
Look it up
controller?
real quick.
Bro, no. Okay,
I mean,
actually,
I'll remember.
I'm cool saying S.
Oh, the Sega Dreamcast.
That
This
shit
one?
was wild.
Oh wait, that one.
No, that first one. That's the one that it came with.
This shit was wild.
I had a screen on it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's that thing I was telling you about, the memory card that you could remove and play little mini games on.
And for what it was, like the it had like when you held it, there was triggers underneath it, but it was still triggers.
That's my biggest thing with the Dreamcast controllers. It looks like fucking sin.
but
Then when you
feels good.
get it in your hand,
Yeah.
the bridges on the back are absolutely perfect.
Yeah, like it's honestly a controller that I think feels really good and surprisingly really worked really well for like fighting games and other games like that.
Yeah, a lot of people say their favorite version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the Dreamcast one.
And what year did that come out?
98, 99.
Yeah, I would say 98 probably.
So where
It
would
was the
you
la-
guys put it?
We didn't even talk about the other Sega ones. We have to get through those too. But yeah, let's go Dreamcast now. I'll give it an A.
Yeah,
I think it's probably one of the best feeling controllers to hold, even used for long periods of time. I will say its control stick is cheap. I think that's where I would be like not S tier.
yeah.
But like other than that, the memory card slot being a screen that it's again kind of like not to the fullest extent, but like kind of what the Wii U was doing, where like stuff can happen on that little screen that was relative to your
Really?
game, and like some games had an extra game added to that memory card. Like I think
Sonic Adventure had some kind of egg system with the chow.
Mhm. yeah,
where
that you
could put them in the VMU and take it with you.
Yep. And so
That's pretty
it's
sick.
things like that I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and it was actually like useful to
That
the
would be
games
sweet
like that.
if they had that same. I mean, they kind of do when they integrated Pokemon Go with Pokemon Go Pikachu.
Yeah,
Being able to like
put them in the Pokeball Plus and like carry it with you. And so
yes,
yeah,
that is a great feature.
that like it's one of the coolest things to me for like I don't know. And then yeah, holding one thing felt great to use. Like honestly,
I've never held one.
doesn't look like it, but it actually
Yeah, it looks really.
no.
awful.
BJ was right. It looks like sin, but it like actually works.
Okay, so I put that in A tier. I'll trust your judgment.
We need to get the. If we're gonna just go ahead and do it, I want to wait for BJ obviously to get back, but we need to do.
Well, he's back.
We need to do. We're gonna do all of the Sega controllers. Just let's get them out the way now.
Okay.
We don't have to discuss them.
Well, I mean we can, but like I want to make sure like because
So,
obviously
what's the first
we
one?
did Genesis. We could do the Master System controller.
I don't think I've ever even seen a Master System controller.
Here, let me.
Was that for a specific?
It was
system?
before the Genesis. So there's
Called
the
Master
Sega
System?
Master System,
I've never.
and
even
then
heard,
it was Sega Genesis.
heard of that.
I mean, it was a shittier version of the NES one. It's just a D-pad and two buttons. But no, we'll move from there. So, we did the Mega Drive one. We did the 6-button. That's an arcade stick. Doesn't count. Yeah, I don't know. What did Sega Saturn have?
Sega Saturn was that one that had the ball pad, right? For movement.
Oh,
That's gross if that's the case.
dude, I
Oh no,
remember.
the Sega Saturn was just a.
Let me see.
It was just a fucking Genesis controller.
Okay, because I never had a Saturn.
Huh. That's.
So what? Then what one had the ball controller? Because I remember
I know what
having
you're talking
friends that like back in. I mean, it would have been elementary, so
about.
probably like
Here's the
early-
Sega Saturn 3D.
Ew.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of.
That's bad. That's a nah.
That's D.
That's D tier.
That looks like
Absolutely.
some shit Nickelodeon would make for like a prop.
It looks like that's the
What was it
the
called?
Game Sphere.
Sphere controller. Sega Saturn 3D. Okay, yeah, because Sega Saturn was just a 6-button controller, but
I think that's the one
Yeah.
that came with Knights or something.
I think so probably.
That's gross.
Yeah, that one actually made me like, ugh, I would not want to hold that one.
So then,
I mean,
what's
I bet we say that and then we get it in our hands and it'll be like, oh, it's just another Dreamcast controller.
Fair, that's fair, yeah. But we've actually held a Dreamcast controller. That's different.
That's true.
But there's also something to like these controllers that are like severely oversized.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of I feel
Like
like
I know that I'm pretty sure that a lot of these games were not developed to have like 60-hour.
yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah,
a
so
lot of
you're
the
like-
games back then were like you could beat in a day.
Yeah.
Like the long 20+ hour games were like GameCube onwards is when that became like a norm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's part of the problem with the N64 one is they didn't expect people to be playing so long, even though it's like I get sucked into Ocarina of Time. I'm going through that bitch. They don't expect me to.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never played the N64 one for the sole purpose of I had the GameCube like collection with 1 and 2, and then Ocarina Majora's Mask, and then the 3DS port.
Got a little
like-
tangent. I had a really good idea. So, BJ got rid of his Xbox, and I was even though I was listening to the podcast, and you were like, "I can't wait to play Starfield." I thought it would be
We
really
can
fun.
play it on his Xbox One anyway.
Well, I thought it'd be really fun is if we played Starfield, but I installed a bunch of mods, ridiculous mods, and then you just play through like not playing any of it was just starting off with a bunch of ridiculous mods.
The first spaceship that shows up is
I'm
like
down
some
with that.
fucking dinosaur, and you're like, I see, that's the mod.
Yeah, it'd be cool doing
like-
a Let's Play like that. It sounds fun.
It's like Skyrim, but then you're like,
Or yeah, just finding a game that like starting a new game, but then somebody just installs
this was crazy ass mods.
then
and
you're like, wow, this is not the game I remembered.
it's not the same, but like Fallout New Vegas having the Wacky Wasteland perk, they just added some crazy shit like a flaming Yao Guai.
That's a must-have for New Vegas.
I think your first playthrough of New Vegas should be as vanilla as you can make it. Wild Wasteland to me is like the best. Like
Wild Wasteland is a must.
fair.
I'll fight anybody that doesn't select Wild Wasteland.
It's probably it is probably one of the best perks. What side tangent? What perks do you usually hit when you do? Because can't you do 3?
I think you start with 3, yeah. But I always do Wacky Wasteland in New Vegas at least, and then it really depends on what like
Build.
class I'm trying to go for. Like I'll usually try to get like a charisma based one, and then maybe like gun freak or something like that.
There was one where just because I always did it because it was stupid, but it's like if you don't have glasses on, you have 1 less perception, but if you have them on, you have 1 more. And I always would find a way to put glasses on my character just because I thought it looked cool, and I'm like, fuck it. That's one where I'm like, that's the dumbest perk.
Yeah.
Like honestly, but like anyway,
So N64 was what year?
97.
Okay, so
Or
we're getting
96,
into like the
96.
2000s era now.
2000s era. We could probably just start. Would you? Which of the big 3 do you want to start with? Because that's when Xbox showed up.
Let's do Xbox.
You want to start Xbox? So the Duke. That was the classic controller with the fucking.
I think it's
beefy,
I think it's a B tier.
beefy boy.
I agree. I mean I played Xbox pretty often just for Halo.
And I mean, like, it did even add stuff like though with like the expandable slot in the controller.
They had 2 slots, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Now, which version? Because I mean, I guess that they'd be the same, but there was 2 versions of the Xbox controller. One of which had the white and black button on the bottom, and it had a shittier D-pad, and then one where the white and black buttons were on the top, and it had an actual D-pad. Because I don't know if y'all remember that
I don't remember.
D-pad.
I'm only talking about the classic one that's
Well, it's- 'cause,
existed forever.
They had 2, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's the latter one that everyone really knows them by.
One of them had their D-pad was this weird, like when you're looking at it, it just looks like mush, because it doesn't have like lines or like dedicated like that tells you
It
up
was just
down.
essentially like a rocker almost.
It was like it caved in for where you're supposed to press the button. So like up, so it had like I don't know how to explain it, but it was gross.
It was just a weird series of hills and valleys.
yes,
But
yeah.
it's the other one that everyone knows the Xbox original controller from. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the one I'm wanting to rate.
Well, you can't just rate the best one of the crew. You got to also rate the worst one of the crew.
Okay, well, I can't even speak on the other one because I never had that one. I had the...
I mean, these two controllers mean virtually nothing to me, so I'll put them in B.
This is what you had, probably. That's the original Xbox controller that came with most Xboxes.
What's the other one look like?
You have Uno, you fucking dick.
It came with your fucking Xboxes. Let me find it, because there was actually... I need a fucking... Alright, let me see. The original...
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
This is the one...
One of them, they would have the white and the black underneath the buttons,
Well,
and the other one...
Well, no, so this is...
The other variant had them on
this,
top.
I think this is the one. But this was the redone. Closer to the 360's release.
Yeah, I did not have that one.
That one is not bad. But the original, and look at that fucking D-pad on the original.
I feel like I remember those ridges.
This
being
one
at
has
the top.
like that. This is the original one that I had. This has that same lines that looked like the Sega,
The Saturn.
the Saturn. It has those same, except the Saturn it's filled in almost all the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at BJ. Look at that. Look at the D-pad. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of hills and ridges. What the fuck is that?
It wasn't that bad. I
would say B.
controller.
I would say B because like the Genesis, the triggers being like underneath the controller kind of, and like the way holding it felt good. Just that D-pad is bad, and the original sticks were bad because the second stick was that wide one with a little hole, and the first stick was an actual control stick.
I love wide ones with little holes. But I think it's...
I'd say B though.
I mean, just looking back at these controllers, I haven't looked at an original Xbox controller in years. I think it really speaks to the quality control of Xbox that there's never really been a bad controller from them.
I agree. I mean, I'm willing to put like almost all of them except for Elite in A tier. I mean, I'm just gonna say that. Right. I'm fine. Us just laying that out right now and us not having to go back.
I'd be fine
talking
with
about
that.
it.
I would put this one in B because I have a different thing where I think, and this may be a hot take, but we'll get to it when we get to 360. But I think Duke controller, because that's what it's called, the Duke, is a B tier. It's a fine controller, got the job done. That's where you played OG Halo 1, Halo 2.
And now that I'm thinking about it, like even I will say like this generation's, even the difference from the 1 to the 1S and X. They've added now a capture button, and all of them have rubberized.
Yeah, the rubberized grips.
And on the bottom, and just that little thing almost puts it in S tier.
But that's another thing that I wanted to bring up is that's such a small change to make. So it's like they really knew that the Xbox One controller was damn near perfect.
Yeah.
And even closer to that, the end of the generation, most of the newer ones had that rubberized grip on the back. So I think they've always known.
Yeah, okay. I'm fine putting Duke controller in B.
I'll agree with that because I think 360 deserves at least A.
Yeah.
We'll get to it because I want to go ahead and just.
You want to talk about it?
No, we'll get to it. We'll get to 360 when we get to 360 because I want to go ahead and say right now an S rank immediately is the fucking GameCube controller.
100%.
No question. That is like the
triggers are like the best
perfect.
feeling triggers of all time.
Dude.
Yeah, those analog triggers.
Dude,
so nice.
The fact that they counted as like, oh, you're still pressing, and then a hard press, like Super Mario Sunshine.
It would go in, and then it would click, and it would register you pushing it a little bit, pushing more. It was completely
Super Mario Sunshine having the idea of you can run around and spray or hit it with the click, and he stops and you just spray harder. I'm like, that fucking great.
It was so good.
Yeah, that's
now I will say I have I know this is weird. We don't have a double S tier. In my head, I was gonna put like GameCube A tier and the Wavebird S tier because
The Wavebird
because
is one
it
of
was
the,
wireless and you could select
Yep.
channels. I mean, even though we were talking, like a minute ago about them making, with the different Xboxes just a little bit of a difference. That's enough of a difference to put it in like it's so good. And I mean, then remember like all the fucking Mad Catz controllers and that had
those
the
weird condom ridges on the side.
yes,
for the
yes,
GameCube.
like for your pleasure. Mm-hmm. Yes, ribbed for your pleasure.
But
Could you imagine if that was on the packaging of a fucking
Mad Catz, ribbed for your pleasure.
feel bad for the GameStop employees of those days.
Dude, and then they had the turbo button.
Mm-hmm.
Turbo is
That was always like glow demonic red in the
Yes.
clear shell of the controller.
Yes, and then
it never worked a single time.
I
on
didn't even
any
know
of
how to
them.
make it work.
all it did. Well, apparently what you're supposed to do is press turbo, press the button, then press turbo again, and that would be the turbo button. So if it was, I have to press A a bunch of times. Press turbo, press A, press turbo again,
So
and
like,
it would make it. Yeah,
I didn't know.
fucking know that. I just
No,
went turbo
I would
button.
just fucking go over to someone's house and they'd be like, I get the Wavebird, you get the Mad Catz. I'm like, fuck you.
Dude,
Well, to be fair,
I'm the guest. I get the Wavebird.
No. I disagree with that. Your house, your rules. You get best controller.
the Wavebird has the best range of any wireless controller ever made.
Well, because it wasn't Bluetooth. It was
like
like
radio
radio
waves.
waves. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could transmit
but, like,
across the yard.
I remember at one point I was like, how far could this thing actually go? And I plugged it in and I was playing Mario Sunshine. And I like went from my living room to my room in the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing shit and I could hear him like jumping around. And I was like, oh my God. This
So
is
it
amazing.
okay for us to put
Wavebird is
S tier?
they're both S tiers.
They
The
are.
GameCube is like,
But the thing is, though, the Wavebird is so much significantly
here's the
better.
thing. But they're still both S tiers. It's one is perfect. One's just even more perfect. Like
Fair
that's the thing.
enough.
There's
Okay.
nothing wrong with the GameCube controller, except that
Except, hold on. This is my gripe. Is there would be so many times where I'd have like a GameCube controller, and then when the rubber
on the stick.
and then it had these
it had those ridges
really
on the inside.
ridges to play, and it
and you
wasn't
would
just
put your
one.
thumb on
it
it.
would
It
the
was
whole
two for
thing.
every corner
It was
of the
every
thing.
every corner had a fucking pointy ridge. I fucking hate. Okay, I'm
And
so.
after like one day of playing it, they would all stick up and jab you in the thumb.
It was awful.
That is, yeah.
It was awful, and that to me is such a distinct. That's why I got like such a distinct memory in my brain.
What do you? Mean? I'm gonna be honest. What do you mean?
So you know
What?
the top of the stick on the GameCube controller,
Yeah.
how it's like a rubber thing
Yeah.
that has those ridges. That after
What-
if
you
you're
use
playing,
it.
yeah, after you use it for a while, that shit like pops off, and then underneath it, it's just like a hard plastic piece.
Okay, no, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. I think the difference is that anytime it broke, my dad was like, no, and we I guess GameStop had them, but he just bought a rubber top. So my GameCube controller still this day has a third-party rubber top that just went over it that never came off after that. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
We have, I'm sure I still have a purple controller like that.
You remember this? You remember this?
Yep.
Oh my god!
Let
It was
me see
the
it.
worst
It's so fucked
fucking
up.
thing in.
Yeah,
Oh,
I never
Save
dealt with
that
it.
image for us to put it in.
Oh my gosh! It was the worst.
I never.
That's
dealt,
what
I,
I'm talking about. It's like there's distinctly things that I remember fucking hating about that controller, and that was it. It was, and then your parent, if you couldn't get a new controller, you were stuck with
Yeah,
it.
you had to use that shit for 6 years straight.
Or the problem was it's like okay, you're like okay, I have two controllers, I'll just switch to the other one, and then you'd invite a friend over, and they're like,
I gotta use this fucking piece of shit
yeah,
that
and now
your
your
dog
thumb
chewed up.
hurts after like playing for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, it's the first time that I've been like, I don't know what you are talking about. So.
Dude, it such a distinct memory.
If you said that same exact sentence to my sister, she would have been like, "Oh my god, I fucking hated that." We used to like.
I'll message her. I'll just,
You know,
Remember this?
you know what? You know what? It'd be the same with Jesse because that was exactly what it was. Because my controller was the one with all the bells and whistles and shit that I either paid for or I got my dad to get something for me. We had the second controller that was busted, broken, all that. That was Jesse's controller. So I
I
guarantee
mean, the same
you,
thing would happen to
I
the C
guarantee-
stick, but Usually
as
that
bad.
was
I
for.
feel
It
like
was much harder to get the plastic off of that C stick.
Well, it's also
'Cause
only
it was like,
people that
wasn't
like
it
played.
ingrained in that shit? Like
it was almost like, you know how they dip like wine bottles
Yeah.
in wax? It was like that.
It was
for
like
the
that, but
C-stick.
what the problem is it would rub off in just the spots where the plastic, like the main controller, it would fall off completely.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, it would like poke out of the plastic, the rubber a little bit.
Yeah. That's another
It would
problem.
only happen on like controllers that you played a lot of Smash on because you're using the C stick a lot. Because like Wind
No,
Waker, you rarely use a C stick. That's
let's-
only for the awkward camera controls.
the worst one in. You know you're gonna break your controller. So you're playing Mario Party because of how many things where it was like spin the control stick, and what they want you to do is just do this. But every single one of us grabbed it and started fucking.
When
yeah.
DJ Pussy on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking. Are you gonna squirt? And on the N64
Yeah.
one,
I'm gonna clip that.
on the N64 one, you do that, and then it's like this. The gray dust falls out of the thing.
Oh, so that's why I was like, it's fucking A for me because I really have a lot of bad memories
I guess, but
from
like
that controller.
even still, like
If a perfectly working one was like it was the best controller I ever touched. It was my first gaming system. I love the GameCube controller.
But I feel
but there's
like
so much anger that I have for the thumbstick.
I put that as because I don't know if you can count wear and tear like that against a controller because
100%.
no,
If you had a
say that-
fucking
Durability is definitely a factor.
Yeah.
I say
100%.
that in the sense that like other like disregarding that has anything like the triggers never broke on me, none of the buttons like got stuck or whatever. Even if
I
like
think
the
I've
rubber
convinced
grips
VJ to put it down to A.
probably have.
Yeah, 100%.
Nah, to
You
me
unlocked like a core memory of me trying to play Sonic Adventure 2 and just being like, my little thumb.
I'll concede, but I disagree heavily.
I'd be really willing to keep the Thunderbird, the Thunderwave or
Wavebird.
Wavebird at S
Yeah, I agree with that.
because those were like
those never fucked up.
it was and you would keep pristine condition of it. It was like I never went to a house that had like multiple Wavebirds. It was like either one wave.
Yeah, the one wave bird that's like the prized possession of the household.
That shit was set on the TV stand. The rest of them were in the fucking like plastic bin of just throw the controller in there.
And then you'd wrap them up through the middle.
Throw that shit in the closet.
They
The
would-
Wavebird is sitting on like right next to the TV.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of times it was like there was always the 3-person hangout where it was like the host gets the wave bird, the second player gets the wired like core controller, and then the third person gets that fucking Mad Catz.
No, you knew that was how you knew someone was poor or not. If you went to their house and they had one regular game controller and 3 Mad Cats, you're
That's,
like,
that's
"Ooh."
exactly how it was at my house. But we wore through so many of those fucking controllers. It's insane. I can't believe I didn't think of that before you said it.
Oh, again, it's so deeply ingrained of me being like super frustrated.
It was that, and then
And my
Sonic
parents would
Adventure
be like,
2
"Why do I need
discs.
to buy?" And that was like the first instance of like, because my parents were just bought. They were like, they waited a long time. They're like, we got you a GameCube, and I was like, yes. And then I would always be like, 5 more minutes, you know, and all that other kid shit. But then it was like, then there was the first thing of like, my controller's not working. It works fine for me, and I'm like, no, it hurts my fingers. The rubber came off, and they're like, well, too fucking bad.
Yep.
I guess
Like,
it's
we're not getting you a new one. We bought you this, and it should work. And then I try to explain to my dad, well, it broke. Well, why would we buy this if it breaks? Like, am I gonna just have to buy another one? I'm like, oh, I don't have to explain it to you.
I guess it wasn't that core of a memory for me then, because yeah, that never came up when I'm thinking of the GameCube controller. I don't know. Either I fix it. I think because I'm pretty sure my dad bought like from GameStop. They had rubber grips you could buy.
I
for the
wish I
controller.
knew about that.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, that's not something that was like
Yeah.
widely known about.
I guess because like.
Because if I could think of that, I'd be like order a
Yeah,
ton
like
of
a
those.
6-pack of them
But,
shit.
but
Yeah.
even then, like looking at the picture, I'm like, well, yeah, I know that's what I know what that looks like in my head. I can feel it, but it never hit a core
Would you
memory
ever?
for me.
Because like as kids, we have that like oral asphyxiation, like kind of like try to like nibble off the tabs,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know why. That's like I would always like try to get the tabs off so it was less hurting.
Yeah, it wasn't stabbing you at least.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah.
Crazy memories.
All right.
DJ Roomba.
Oh,
Not an earthquake.
I thought it was something in the vent.
No, it's going over the vent on
On the other side.
in the bathroom.
All right. So then,
Um,
yeah, I'm getting outvoted, but yeah, I guess in GameCube on A and Wavebird on S.
It's true. Durability does play a factor.
It does.
I mean, like if we were ranking consoles, the fact, even though the 360 is amazing, but the fact that lots of people will get red rings of death is a huge factor.
That is true.
It's a huge problem.
It's one of those things where, like, I guess it's just because of when I got into these or how it was, because like that durability part of the thing, like that, like you talk about it and I'm over here like I don't know what y'all talking about. Like it didn't hit
sure.
a core memory for me. I never got a red ring. So like, and it,
I mean,
again,
I
know people
had
do.
like fucking 3.
Yeah,
It was bullshit.
The other thing we could talk about controllers is the fucking PSP thumbstick.
That
fucking
shit, that shit hurt.
Whoa!
That
Yeah,
hurt
that
after
shit
a
sucked.
while.
If the
And
thing
then-
popped off and you're just the little like plastic.
Oh, that's the worst.
That's
That's
the
the
worst.
absolute
But
worst
I
part.
would always have stick drift, and I couldn't clean, and because you couldn't clean out because it was flat up against the surface, and then you try to move it to the side to reach in, but it only left you like an eighth of an inch
millimeter of space
of
to
space
clean.
because it covered the entire like hole that, bro. Yes.
Anytime I have to play a PSP game, I put that shit on the Vita. With those nice thumbsticks, there's no slider pad.
Dude, I just learned about the PSP Go.
PSP
yeah, the
Go.
fucking flip phone PSP.
Dude,
yeah,
fucking dope. I saw some guy who was like hacked it, and I was like, that looks like a great little emulator. It's like that big, and it has 2 thumbsticks.
When the Fairview Walmart opened, they had this machine. It was like one of those cutter things, and I won a PSP Go out of that
Really?
the week that it opened.
That's amazing. Oh,
So, yeah.
so many core memories unlocked.
So then DualShock 2, PS2.
Dude, my DualShock 2s, those control sticks are the exact opposite of the GameCube ones because them shits will last
Never.
for the texture on them never goes away either.
that's true.
Bro, that's wild to me. That one shocks me more than anything. I could go to somebody's house who pulls their PS2 out of
Now,
storage.
did those ones
that shit's gonna
have
sound good.
so that was wired?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still wired.
Yeah.
Obviously, you could buy like wireless third-party shit, but yeah, I think first party was wired with the like same.
So
it was like
I
the same
never
shit
had
as,
a
like, that
PS1, so I'll let you guys delegate.
Well,
I mean, we had a PS1, but I never really played it. That was more my parents' thing.
the PS2 because that's.
Oh, sorry, the PS. Sorry,
I was,
PS2.
I was gonna say
talking about.
core memory for me was Kingdom Hearts playing on that PSP or PS2.
I never had a PS2, so
That was one of the first games that I ever tried to play with my mom was Kingdom Hearts on the PS2. So
I played Star Wars Battlefront on that thing. I played so many games.
I remember my dad got the screen for the PS2 where you could like set it up like a laptop and take it with you, and we would always take that with us on the car trip to the beach.
bro,
I
talking about Battlefront. So, I got a GameCube and other gifts I had gotten for Christmas is I got like the second gen I think it was the first gen iMac. When that thin,
yeah.
crazy cool, and it was an amazing gift, and so I was able to play Star Wars Battlefront 1, and I wanted a controller for it so bad, and the one that they offered was this Logitech one, which was garbage. But if you remember the sub that the Titan, it is literally. It looks the exact same. It's just newer, a little bit newer tech. Is the exact same form factor as the one I had.
Logitech has literally never changed design. My sister bought one like 10
Oh, the
fucking-
buttons were so awful to push in.
Mm-hmm. But I will say one thing. I don't know if this is a doctored photo, but I believe it. That they have photos of like the wreckage of the submarine and the controllers just like sticking in the dirt completely fine. That's the most poetic thing to me.
But so where would you put PlayStation 2 controller?
I would say
It's still. I mean, they didn't really. I mean, again, I'd have to like really like look at them, but like it's the same as the DualShock 1. Like, there's not really much changes. Which I guess,
I mean,
hey,
it really is
if
just the original DualShock in black.
So like A tier.
I'd say
I'd say.
yeah. Where did we put the PS1 one? DualShock.
You said A.
Yeah,
Which is
same.
really
It's the same
Okay.
controller,
It
just
is-
a bit more durable.
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
molds are the same and everything.
so you would keep the DualShock 1 on A and
Because
then
it's the same controller. If we
Okay.
put DualShock 1 somewhere, DualShock 2 is right next to it.
all right.
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, I can go ahead and say it now. I'd put PS3's DualShock on there as well. A tier as well.
I would actually put DualShock 3 a tier below
Oh, really?
because the proprietary charger, that macro USB,
Yeah.
really sucks. And then the plastic on the PS3 controllers feels much cheaper than a PS2 one for me.
But the wireless wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean the wireless proponent of it was pretty good.
And they had the thing where like they had the 4 lights that indicated battery level or what player.
Or player, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why I would be like, I feel like there's enough differences, whether it be bad or good, but it still kind of evens out. Like,
I don't
it's
remember a
kinda the
PlayStation
same-
3 like having an issue with one. It was mostly I would just lose cables and my mom would be like, I'm like, hey, we need this one. They're like, I don't know the difference.
That
There's
was
too
my
many-
biggest
there's
problem
too
with
many
them. Those cables always wore out for me, so it was like always trying to replace that shit sucked.
Dude, the biggest memory I have with like peripherals with the PlayStation 3 was I was, Battlefield 3 or Battlefront 3. No, Battlefield 3
I wish Battlefront 3.
was like my main game, and I played the shit out of it. And the controllers I think were with using Bluetooth, that high
Yeah, those
low,
were
low latency Bluetooth. But you could connect like Bluetooth headsets and stuff like that. So I would go to like Radio Shack and get like the OG headset thing, and I would put that on. But then everyone would be like, Matt, like mute your mic, like we can hear the feedback from your TV. So I invested in Turtle Beaches,
Remember those days when Turtle Beach was the king?
dude. And
Wasn't it just because they were like the only ones?
They no competition whatsoever.
so that was back when PlayStation 3 could still be played on composite.
oh,
and
fuck,
so-
right. It wasn't HD.
And so the Turtle Beach,
That was a mid-gen switch for both
Right.
consoles.
so the
fuck.
Turtle Beach adapter was this thing that interfered into the audio lines. So
I remember
yes,
these.
So it had this weird thing where it would have both a female and negative a female and male plug on it. So you plug from the PS3 audio, the red and white would go into them, and then it would continue to send it up the TV. So you'd have.
It was essentially like a pass-through that
Yes.
would interject the
But
mic
what
audio.
they did have, because it was also HDMI as well, is you could have in the settings of the PlayStation 3, you could set it to set audio out of both the composite and HDMI. And so then I'd have this like 20-foot cord from the TV line going into my headset, and then I plug the USB into the front for power. Oh, it was
I
great.
wasn't.
I felt like such a gangster having those Turtle Beaches.
Didn't the 360 all their headsets had to go through the thing on the front, or
At least the Xbox ones
Yeah.
did, because I remember having that shitty 360 pack-in mic that made you look like a telemarketer.
yeah,
Or truck driver.
Yeah, with one ear and then the other one clamps onto the side of your forehead, and the plastic fell off same day, and then you have this shitty little mic that was always peaking.
Dude,
that you could
Did
really
you ever
tell
for either place? So where because we're already talking about PlayStation 3.
well, yeah, because I'll say that's the start of the next gen. There wasn't really anything else really around that time, unless do we want to
hold on.
put portable?
I
games
have
in
a
there?
bunch of weird games, the weird controllers that are
Game-centric?
that are game centric because there's plenty of PlayStation actually has a lot of weird controllers that aren't exactly game centric, but they're
Was
just
the Resident Evil 4 GameCube fucking
so.
The chainsaw?
Yeah.
Yes, we have
Uh,
that one written down, but
That's the one
we
that I
haven't
own.
we haven't
You own
talked
that?
about.
Yeah, I was going to bring it for the
Oh,
episode.
shit.
I don't have the GameCube one. I have the PlayStation one.
Oh shit!
So-
But it's really cool. The start button is a ripcord.
that's kind of fire.
Let's just determine it. Do you want to go through main controllers and then rank these weird controllers?
I think we go through mains and
I
then go
agree.
to weird
Okay.
shit.
Cool.
So PS3, DualShock 3, just same as DualShock 1 and 2.
I'm gonna say B because
I didn't have an issue with it, so I would keep it with the rest.
I mean, I'm fine keeping it in A. It's just personal preferences there.
I think to me there was more, there was enough gained to max out enough lost, I guess, for me. I do agree with you, the plastic felt worse.
I just feel like I just am
being-
worried about not worried, but it just feels like all of our stuff is either going to be like A.
Well, I mean,
we have nothing in C.
These are first-party pack-in controllers. Like they
should
kind of
be
have
good.
to
They
be good.
need
Well, that's
to
the
be
thing.
good.
There hasn't been like a it's kind of bad controller. It's either been like this is pretty good or great to shit, and it's the shit one has just been like the N64 controller and then the Virtual Boy and then the Power Glove, like shit where you're like, yeah, I don't want to fucking touch that. Like, yeah, that to me is what D tier should be, which is like that's just bad. But like, anyway, yeah. So DualShock 3, I'm cool with A or B, honestly. So, Matt, you can be the tiebreaker, I guess. Then
I'm fine. I'll put it in B because it just was that.
yeah, it was a fine controller.
And I actually don't. I think I prefer the 360 controller over.
Now this is where you might get some heated arguments because I would say the 360 controller is S tier.
Well, I
And again, to me,
I think it's A.
I think it's
I
S.
also think it's A.
I think it's S because just like, and again, this could be the difference in me with the GameCube controller for 360. I had one 360 controller that never broke on me. Nothing went wrong, and that shit was perfect.
I
It
still
felt
have the
great.
same 360
See, I never
controller.
had a 360,
Great.
but when I would play on my friends, I'd be like, "This controller is great."
To me, it even
but
with the reason
I
I
don't
say
think it's S.
the reason I say it's S is because that's been the style. I guess you could say the same as the rest of the Xbox controllers, but like they literally went to 360 and said, "Shit, if it ain't broke, don't fix it." And all the controllers got was just a bit more angular.
See,
but it's the same layout.
I mean, that's why,
same
like,
placement of everything.
I believe that all the PlayStation controllers, except for maybe the newer ones, are all
four.
B tiers. And
That's why I was wanting to put it on A tier for the DualShock 3 because it's like they're decent controllers. Like I would say A.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be fine putting DualShock 3 on A, the rest on B. Putting the Xbox controllers because I think they were better, all on A. See, that's where I'm flopped with you guys.
I'm with you.
He's
there.
with you. I'm the outlier.
So can I change?
Oh, the PS3 one? Oh yeah. Well,
change because we have DualShock 1 and 2 in A tier.
Yeah, I think DualShock 3 is worse than the 1 and the 2.
But you want to keep 1 and 2 in A.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I differ.
Yeah.
I think they're B
But
tier.
for the 360 one,
But I think
all
all the Xbox ones are A tier.
Yeah,
See,
I'm on that page as well.
This is where I'm in a disagreement of I think the Xbox One controller was slightly worse than the 360.
Whoa.
And then
I don't agree.
I don't know what it is, but then the series onward just I don't know, felt better. I didn't like the Xbox One. Again, that's why I bought an Elite.
Well, they've also changed the way they texture the controllers. I mean, they're the same basic shape, but
That's the thing. To me, the 360 controller just worked. It just felt good in the hand. Everything else, I didn't like how angular the Xbox One controllers were until I got an Elite controller. And then, so again, I want to say this: I can't really speak on the Xbox One or the Xbox Series controllers because the second I got it, I sold it. So I the only time I've used it is
the Series S and X have rubberized. It's like
That's
default
what I
to
said.
have
So they're
texturized.
better. To me, that'd be better than the Xbox One. But again, I'll say
That's not a big enough change. That's what I'm saying. The big enough change is from the Elite, which puts Elite in S.
Well, yeah, Elite to me, an Elite controller, and then the original 360 controllers are S controllers. The Xbox One is A.
I had a really sweet 360 controller that was all white and it had like a Japanese style dragon on it.
Really? What was it? Proprietary?
Yeah, it was like a first party Xbox controller. It was just a weird design. But they it was like a dragon and it was all black and white. It was like a regular white controller with a painting on it almost.
I mean, this is like a little bit of a tangent, but I do not think PlayStation gets anywhere close to the cool controllers that Xbox has, at least in this
no fucking contest.
The current 2 gens. So I'm talking about PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X. Like,
I mean, with PlayStation, it's like you get a choice of 5 colors And then you go to Xbox and it's like, okay, you have the Starfield controller.
Well, you have colors. You have like white camo, blue camo,
Special editions for games is what.
Do you
really
remember
sticks out.
the camo PlayStation 3 controller?
Yeah.
That's the one I
weird
had.
Snow camo one.
That's
Snow
the one
camo
I
one
had.
was
It
fucking
so
fire.
fucking good. That was the one I had. I was really proud about that one. But like I was looking either I have the Starfield one, which I'm really
There's the Forza one.
the Forza one. It might
one
be the
looks
best.
fucking
might be the
awesome.
best.
The Sea
controller.
of Thieves one goes pretty fucking hard.
But the Forza one's like almost all.
It's like
clear
all
plastic.
see-through, but with like the paint splatter.
I didn't know it was see-through.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like yellow see-through. It actually is kind of fire.
It's the only one that really does that. I mean, the Starfield one only has see-through.
The see-through triggers, which is still fucking cool.
Dope as fuck.
But
I
like,
love see-through plastic.
I mean, I made my
His
my
Pro-
my
his
Pro
Pro
controller that
It's
I
see-through.
honestly such a good like layout. It's all white buttons and sticks, and then
I do
that
like
purple.
that the standard Pro controller is kind of see-through a little bit, but like
very
it's very little,
like,
but
it's
it's
like
still-
5% opacity.
yeah, but
But
still.
that's another thing to its
Or
point
95.
is like if you want another shell for that thing, it's the easiest to replace of any
Easiest
controller.
mod. But I don't know. Again, y'all are gonna outvote me on this one, but I'd say 360 is S because I don't know. I felt there was a downgrade from the 360 to the Xbox One.
I think it's only ever gone up, so I'm putting it in A.
Yeah. So
I agree, A
yeah.
as well.
I'll be outvoted for it, but I hard disagree with it. I think the 360 was perfect, and then the Xbox One somehow got worse. Not by a lot. I say worse. That sounds like a harsher word, but it's like I would pick up an Xbox
So-
One controller, and then I'm like, I wish this was a 360 controller.
Let's talk. We kind of gone a little bit forward and stuff. Wii controller.
C tier.
See,
C.
Wii Pro controller.
Finally
D.
get a C controller.
Yeah.
The Wii,
But-
because there's Wii Pro controller, which was the like really shitty, like you talk about.
Oh,
yeah,
that
the one that
fucked-
didn't have
plugged in-
legs.
Didn't have
that
legs.
almost looked like an SNES controller.
Yes. No, you want to talk about the two sticks on the bottom of the PlayStation controller feeling weird? The one on the Wii was too close that my thumbs could fucking touch.
Dude,
Okay, I'm
That's
fine with that.
worse.
the GoldenEye controller, A tier though.
For
What?
The Wii GoldenEye controller.
Huh.
It was essentially a 360 controller. It was golden. It came with the GoldenEye remake, and it actually had the legs where you could hold it, and it felt like an actual controller. Me and the boys all got GoldenEye remastered, and then we would go into Call of Duty lobbies on the Wii and just fucking destroy with that controller.
Yeah, 'cause you had, like,
because
the
it was an actual controller, and that's a big problem with the Wii that I have is to make it even somewhat serviceable, you have to plug in the nunchuck.
Yeah. Well, unless you're playing like Mario, which
Now
you could do
we
sideways.
have.
I mean,
but
even then, I
yeah.
had a shell that I would pop it into that made it a big SNES controller.
Now,
Fair, yeah.
what I will say is after when we start to get into weird controllers, I do have on the list.
We're gonna come back to the Wii for sure.
We're gonna come
We're
back,
back to
Wii.
Wii for a lot of shit.
For sure.
For a lot of shit.
We're pretty much gonna package them though.
Well, yeah, Wii parentheses.
Dollar General peripherals.
Dude,
this
those-
one's a bowling ball.
I feel like Dollar General had those up until like last year,
I agree.
where it was just like an 18 pack of like.
It came
big
in, so you
fucking-
know, like there's like the plastic that's like crumply, and then there's that like rubberish plastic. They'd always come in the rubberish plastic bag with all of them, and then at the top it's stapled with the cardboard. You know exactly
Yes.
what I'm talking about.
And then it just says like video game accessory at the top.
yes, bro.
And it's like a
video game accessory, sword, bat, ping pong,
gun,
19
penis.
like 90% of them were just okay. It's the Wii remote and then a thing on top of it
Yes.
that doesn't add fucking
Yes.
anything to the experience.
Yeah, dude, they probably made millions.
Dude, whoever that's like
You could go to
Because
any.
you go to Dollar General and they're like, "Oh, my son has a Wii, and this is only
Yeah.
$14."
that's where the economic boom in China came from is those fucking Wii accessories.
100 those injected molded. Yeah. Yes. Okay, but
The-
we'll get back to that.
I can
but no,
envision that fucking tennis racket so clearly in my mind.
I can envision all the steering wheels. Very.
Oh my gosh, the steering wheel adapter. At
Because
least
they even had like a first party.
well, at least
steering
they,
wheel
that
adapter.
came with Mario
Kart.
It even have it. They even have it for the for the Switch.
Yeah, they do have Switch versions. I don't know if they're
Those
first
are
party,
th-
but
they're not. But
yeah.
they are very shitty.
Oh, of course they are.
Because it's like this. It's like the size of a goddamn
yeah,
donut.
at least the Wii stick was like,
like a-
it was
yeah, you
the,
can actually hold it
beefy,
like a.
yeah. The other ones, it's like
You're like, okay.
Okay, so
we C.
C. I'm
and
fine
then
with that.
We Pro in D.
I'm fine with that.
That shit was bad.
We GoldenEye going in A.
Okay.
So we did we. Do we start next? Technically, would Wii U have been next? Or
Yes.
Was it, okay.
Yes, because we've already gone to 360 and PS3.
So Wii U, the
Hold
fucking
on, let
game.
me add
oh, yeah. Well, while you do that,
GoldenEye. Yeah, talk.
Wii U gamepad.
So
Because it's technically
if I'm
part
being nice,
it's
I'm putting
part
it
of
in
the
B.
console. Yeah,
I agree.
But it is the controller.
Because we're not talking about like Game Boy or any
Yeah.
of those.
But like, you still had to buy a box, and then this was connected.
I
to
agree.
It,
And the only reason we're going to talk about the Switch is because
yeah. Joy-Cons.
Joy-Cons. So
But because the thing is, now if we say
I'd say C.
I would.
It wasn't terrible.
It I mean,
Yeah,
it worked
C or B.
perfectly fine. The screen was good, but the big problem with it, it was so unwieldy that you essentially had to brace it on your lap
Sounds
or
like
something.
there's somebody at the door. So
Okay. Yeah. The thing is, like, it felt just big.
Yeah.
Like, the Steam Deck is probably the perfect version of that, where it's like everything's on the top part that you need to fuck with. But like I never feel like I have to hold my Steam Deck on my stomach or somewhere. Like I can like
the
sit here like
ergonomics
this.
of the
Yeah.
Steam Deck are also pretty perfect, where it's like, okay, it
Where you're
shifts the
holding
weight
things.
around.
Yeah. So, but then the Wii U gamepad was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold it on my lap and use it. I'm not gonna sit there like this. It's like, nah, it's sitting here, and it's like, no, like I like it. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like how smudgy it got. That plastic.
Yeah, that was a big thing that I hated about the Wii U. It was all that glossy plastic that even just leaving it on your entertainment center, it would get like dust scratches. It looks just awful.
Yeah, so it never looked good. But like, I mean, I would say like, yeah, C or B. It did the job. Like, I never really had a problem with it. It was just like, yeah, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
It's a Wii U. Okay. Dude comes in here, goes, I think someone's at the door. He just pops in and he just stares at us. I think B or C. Honestly,
I'm gonna say C.
C.
Okay, yeah, C sounds good. to me.
Wait, sorry, we're talking U.
Wii U gamepad. Now the Wii U Pro controller. Did you play with that?
D.
D? Really?
I hate that piece of shit.
Oh damn, I liked it.
I agree.
All right, yeah, damn. I actually liked it. Granted, I liked it better than the Wii U pad, but that's that.
Yeah.
But having an actual dedicated controller, and then like it was still like it wasn't offset yet. It was still the same sticks, but it still was like decently weighty. Buttons were right. Like I feel like it felt good. But yeah, no. If you say D and you say D as well, then sure. But I thought it was a better.
I mean, there was like certain times where I was like, wow, this system's super cool, ahead of its time. Like I had a friend who was like when they started introducing on like nicer flight, not nicer, but like, you know, not like Frontier or Spirit, but like on airlines that had like a power jack
brick you could put it in your backpack.
Yes.
And
Yeah, you could just put, and you'd be able to play the Wii, Wii U like on a flight, and I was like, that is the coolest shit of all time. I've never even thought of that. I'm like, then I was like, oh wow, that thing's ahead of its time. But when
the fucking Switch popped, and then you're like, fuck that thing.
Yeah.
when like in retrospect, it was super unwieldy, and the games weren't that great. I mean, the fact that like so many of them dual launched on GameCube, like the fact that
You mean
like
Wii?
dual launched on Wii is like wild.
Or
I mean, the one game that everybody bought it for was Breath of the Wild. And it took so fucking long that they were like, okay, well, we're basically switching development to the Switch, and we're only going to put it out on Wii U because we said we would.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
It runs like shit on there.
I bet. Same thing with like Cyberpunk, where they're like, well, we said it's coming out on last gen, so we got to put it out on last gen.
Yeah.
Not as bad as
I
Cyberpunk.
remember how fucking rough that was, and I was like, I love this game so much, I don't want to hate it. And then I had my Google Stadia, and
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
had
oh my
Stadia.
gosh, it's so good on here. I feel so bad.
Bro, I bought that game twice because I had it on my Xbox. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. And then I was told it actually runs decently on
Dude,
next
I'm
gen.
so
I
excited
bought
for
it on
this
PS5.
gigabit internet. Sorry,
No, you're good.
it's gonna change everything.
Yeah.
It took like 8 hours to upload our. I mean, to be fair, our episode was 10 gigs because we're shooting on 4K, and I edit, and we have great audio. But still, it took. I mean, I was really glad because I forgot in the morning to check, and then I saw it was posted. So I really appreciate you
Of course.
publishing that. What time did you go and check it?
I checked it at like 1 a.m. and it was still at like 89%, and then I went back at like 2:30 and it was ready.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah, it took forever, and so BJ helped me out on that.
All right. So we go from Wii U to the start of, at the time, was next gen crazy shit, Xbox One and PS4. You've already kind of said it, but you think Xbox One is still A tier with the 360 with all those. So
I mean, I'd be fine putting it S, but like Elite controller is to me the best controller.
yeah, well,
And
see,
we don't have a tier above.
See, I will say this.
I mean, I'd be fine moving it to double
see,
S.
See, here's the thing. If we say Elite controller, I'm talking Elite Series 2.
For sure.
Elite Series 1, I would put an A. Because if we want to talk about durability, that shit
A lot of problems.
got so fucked for me with the Elite Series 1.
I'll talk about the Elite controller I have, which is a Series 2.
Yeah, the Series 2
I'd be fine.
is the... Because that thing has not fucked with me yet. It works perfectly. I've had no problems with
I mean, there's so many things. You have like the customizable LED light that lets you know what profile you're on. Like it has 4 profiles. It's either no lights, 1 light, 2 light, or 3 light. Like, I mean, it's so the texturized grip, the interchangeable thumbsticks, the
fact that the
interchangeable
grips are
tap.
all the way around.
You have 3 selectable
trigger stops,
and 4 interchangeable, and then the menu system inside the Xbox app. You can change the accelerometer style for instant, like progressive.
You can also take the nubs off and tighten the trigger the stick and make it more weighty or like
I did
or
not
less
know
loose.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
So
tighten
I'm
it.
just saying, I'd be
No, yeah.
fine.
No, that controller is S. The Elite Series 2 is an S tier controller.
100%.
To me, and like again,
And that's why I'm fine putting Xbox One controller
A.
A.
Yeah, I'll concede to that one. I think the Elite Series 1 is either A or B because while it is a great controller, durability was bad.
I mean, we worked at GameStop at the time that was popping.
the amount of times, dude,
Every time we sold a Pro controller, it would come back.
every fucking time. Every time we sold Elites,
Really?
they came back. Yes.
I have no recollection of how bad they were.
The first Elite was not good.
Hold on. I actually do think I remember. I had a friend that had one. Didn't the rubber peel off
Yes.
a lot?
Yes.
Yep, that was a big problem.
Rubber peeled off.
Because I do remember that he.
This dude came by, and this is a guy who's a regular, who I know took good care of controllers. Yo, the trigger is not working, just straight up. One of the magnet or whatever things in there just fucking moved, and it's like we can't fix that without taking the whole fucking thing apart.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. Like, yeah, the elite controller when they first launched it,
Can I
was not good.
ask a question, a GameStop question to
Yeah.
you guys? How was your warranty program?
I can't.
Was like if I bought the warranty and I was like, it's not working, would you just take it no questions asked and replace it or give me a gift card?
Technically, no.
Well,
It was well. So the warranty was
Because when I worked at Office Max, I told people, I was like, you could douse this thing with water tonight.
That's what we
and
told
bring
them.
it in, and we would fuck it up because
Yeah.
nobody ever brought in a printer, like unless it was like 2 years later,
See, that's the thing.
and their warranty would only last
my manager,
a year.
My manager Mike would straight up be like, take anything in, because if you tell them that it works for whatever, then they're willing to buy a new warranty later. So like, I would tell people like, you could run this shit over with your car, and I'm gonna take it in. We weren't supposed to do that.
I mean, at
I mean,
Office
nobody
Max,
was supposed to do that, but everybody in the district did
Yeah.
it that way because it helped everyone in the situation.
dude, I got reached out at
So-
Office Max from like off the HP like corporate, and they're like, you sell a lot of printers, we're gonna give you some incentives, and I was like, hell yeah, and I was like 17. I sold those things off the fucking.
The thing was for fuck, what was I gonna say? It was about the warranty thing with GameStop. Like, I think that technically it was like it didn't do water damage, it didn't do whatever. Or there were some things, but it was a thing where we would just be like, fuck it, dude. As long as, because the way the warranty works is, if you come back in with a broken controller, we just give you a new one,
Yeah.
just there. And then like the way that I upsold it was like, especially if you're buying like an Elite controller, it was like you either pay $130 for this and then have to pay another $130 later, or you pay $150 now for the $20 warranty, and then later to get a new one you just pay $20. And I would tell people, and this is where I was definitely not doing what I was supposed to. I said, hey dog, you keep track of that date, break it, and bring it back in, and you just get a new one next year.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
how I got warranties.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, the game warranties were dog shit and never worth it.
Oh yeah, I never even.
I would never push those on people. But if it was any kind of hardware, I'd be like, hey, do you want the warranty? Because I had a couple people that were like, back when the Joy-Con thing first started with all the drift, they would be like, hey, like the system's working fine, but is the Joy-Con
I'm not
covered
gonna lie,
in warranty?
it's still kind of a problem.
It's very much a problem.
It's still a problem.
I mean,
very
I
much.
think the lawsuit is still happening.
Yeah, it is, and that's why they still fix them for free if you send them in.
Really?
The-
I have
the-
two.
The downside is
That's
if
why
the-
Kevin, he bought his used, and both the ones that he came with were.
All you have to do is email support, and they'll be like, "Okay, we'll send you a shipping label. Just put them all in a box and send them to us."
Okay, I need to tell Kevin about that.
one of the reasons why I'm not ever sending some of mine in, because I have special edition ones. Like case of the white ones that I have for my Switch OLED. If I sent them in, I would not get white ones back. I'd get standard gray, and that's
Really?
why.
Then
I
I've
don't
actually
use
Well,
seen.
the nice thing about the white ones and like the Zelda ones is they're like a new generation where they do like a prefix on it, where it's more likely to last.
Because
I've also seen that replacing them, all you have to do is take out a ribbon cable and put in a new. It's a ribbon cable that's connected to
Yeah,
it.
it
so
shouldn't
it's
be
two
super
screws.
The sticks, if you buy them just standard, they come with that ribbon cable attached.
Yeah.
Because I have the Skyward Sword Zelda ones, and then just the white ones. So,
Yeah.
and I haven't had stick drift with either of those two, but I mainly use a Pro controller.
Those
so
are
I'm
the
fine.
two of mine that have never had any problems. Pretty much every other pair has fucked up.
Can we put Joy-Cons at like C?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they fucking.
We're talking about it a lot.
The only reason I wouldn't go D is just because like,
the system.
well, not even just like, it's the idea of like, it's technically two controllers.
That is. I mean, when we play
Like-
like Boomerang Fu, the fact that I'm like
the fact that
I have like 6 actually with a Pro controller,
it's like 7
7, and then I have like a
N64 or no,
like
the
one of
GameCube
those
one.
what's Anki, yeah, Anki one.
Yeah.
And then I actually bought from what's the fucking brand? They're doing like
Hyperkin, D-Brand, 8-Bit Do.
8-Bit Do.
Yeah.
I have the 8-Bit Do adapters for original GameCubes because I have 2 original or actually 3 original, but I only have 2 8-Bit Do adapters. So it's like with that, I have so many controllers, which helps with games that like 8 players.
Like, yeah, that'd be the only reason. And like the only reason I would ever use Joy-Cons is because I'm playing the thing portably, and I don't want to fucking do that.
It's
but,
true.
Like, it is what
you
it
know,
is.
me and Carmen go on a flight, and we're like, let's play Mario Party. Take off the 2, and we have 2 controllers, and they're so small, they're not unwieldy. There are benefits to such a small controller.
Yeah, and
I mean, I have problems with the size.
Yeah.
Just because I generally play single player, and like.
Oh, I mean, I
handheld.
can't play. I mean, I won't play Smash with them, even though you can. Won't play Smash with them. I mean, but like again, Mario Party. I mean, you know how much Mario Party is played in this house, so it's like with that, it's easy, it's fine. I mean, the fact that it has the hidden bumpers, that's super cool.
Yeah.
They charge in the
Switch.
In the Switch.
Yeah.
It's-
That's why
there's
I
a
put
lot
in C.
of good features that
I
that they
wouldn't
thought
I wouldn't
of.
say D, even though like part of me sometimes I'm like, these
The
fucking
passion
controllers sucks.
The passion
Yeah.
could put it to D. But
I just
Yeah.
wish there was some kind of official
Alternative. to 'em.
alternative where
Yeah,
it was
because
just.
I'm using
beefier.
the split
have you
pad.
seen the GameCube Joy-Cons?
Oh, the
Yeah,
one side
Those
And they actually have a thing where you can use it wireless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I might want to get that, but no, I have
it comes in like the purple.
I have
so good.
They're out. You can buy them.
I have the Hori split pad.
I've seen
ones.
those. They kind of look weird.
Well, no, so they have regular ones now. They used to have ones that were weirdly shaped.
I didn't like the original
They have ones that
weird
are
shapes.
smaller and just fit with the Switch's like
Oh,
ergonomics.
okay.
And I'm like, that feels better.
Yeah.
But again,
I had the originals. I
Well,
bought
like,
them for
I had
Daemon
the
X
Daemon X Machina, yeah,
and they
that-
they felt so
Here's the
good.
other
They're actually
thing,
good 'cause they
though,
were big.
is the
That
gift
felt
that
big.
you got for Kevin, which was his case. It was a
Yeah, the
carrying
case that had
the little
the gripper.
the gripper. I mean, because obviously they're not super ergonomic. Again, we've talked about the pros and cons,
Yep.
but they're just not ergonomic.
They're
but the
not.
fact that you can buy like a $7 peripheral that will snap on the back.
I need to get one of those. My only thing is, for the OLED right now, it feels like the only one that exists is from that one company that you like.
I can let you use mine. I'm not using it at the moment.
I mean, I'll give it a try. I just hate the idea that like one of the things is like off to the side.
Wait, what?
It like
It's
it tries
not.
to
It's
offset.
one is an offset because of the offset stick. So when you're holding it, it looks weird,
That
but
is really bizarre.
I will say it feels pretty good. But
I'll
but
give it
that's
a try.
I don't know. I don't think it's in my car. It's in my room. But I'll let you borrow it for a bit if you want to try it because I got it and I liked it. Came with a case.
I would
That's
like
everything.
to give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about...
So did you?
We need to go to DualShock 4 and 5. We have not talked about that.
So that's the thing. It's not DualShock 5. It's a new thing called the DualSense.
Okay, well,
yeah.
DualShock 4...
DualShock 4.
I don't think there's much of a change, except I think I would take it down because I think the fucking trackpad is whack.
I feel like they were always dead, no matter how long.
Yeah, the battery
I
life is
charged
bad.
it.
The thing is, it's the same thing with the PS3 versus PS2. Enough was added or enough was better that it offsets the bad of it because to me it's like it's the best feeling PlayStation controller they've had.
All right, what do you think? So you think it's A still?
Yeah.
I think
Still put it
PS4 and PS5 are one grade above PS3. So if that is A, then yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, to me, it's the best feeling one. The sticks were also really good. I liked the triggers of the PS4 controller. I didn't like that they didn't have a fucking stop on them when you set it on your table.
I just hate all the useless dumb shit that they put into them.
That's the thing.
Like, I don't need a speaker in my controller.
Yeah, or the microphone so you could blow into it for some stupid fucking game.
Yeah,
What game was that?
I had probably Little Big Planet 3.
probably.
To be honest, I loved Little Big Planet.
Oh,
the
it's
original.
great game.
Little
And the-
Big Planet PSP, I had probably like 300 hours in.
Even the PlayStation 3 one, I put so many fucking hours into.
I'm honestly
and then you
upset
go and you
that
find the
that's
other
not-
one.
that Media Molecule was stuck making that Dreams thing for 6 years.
Isn't that the new one?
Some of the shit I've seen in Dreams is pretty dope.
It's cool, but why is that like a $40 game I have to buy and not just like an engine you can like?
Isn't
put
that
out?
still on Steam? The Little Big. Wait, what's Dreams?
Dreams was a game engine they made, basically, but that you could create games in it, and it was like actually really fucking cool. The problem was is that like, it never took off.
I think I remember that like their whole like pitch video. For
Yeah,
that.
and it was really cool. The problem was it's like it's only on PlayStation, and so you can make games, but like they're only available through Dreams. Sony didn't decide because I thought the way they worded it and the way they talked about it was like, oh, we're gonna like games that are made in Dreams you might even be able to put on the PlayStation Store, or like we might. Nothing of that happened. People were making games in this for free basically just to add content. It was basically like a Roblox thing.
And the
there was
fact
no
that
monetization for it. There was nothing. Like people were just making cool shit, and then you would play the cool shit, and then the person was like, well, I spent like weeks of my life doing this, but now I have to go to work, so like I'm not doing it again. It died, and that's why we haven't gotten a Little Big Planet 4. I mean, they were sitting and doing that instead.
Yeah, and then Sackboy Adventures comes out, and
By
it's
a
just
different fucking team.
It's just
and
dog
it's a
shit because it's
platformer.
not
Oh,
Little
is
Big
that
Planet.
the one that's on Steam?
Probably.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's
'Cause there is
Sackboy, a big adventure. They just made a platformer with.
Oh, okay. Because
Sackboy.
I fucking loved Little Big.
Not
Planet.
even as good as the Tech.
I
Bro.
loved going to like the different worlds,
Astropod's
like
wild.
the the worlds that other people made, and there were some of them were like ridiculous, or like ones that was like super speed 9,000, and they like put you in a rocket car and they just shoot you across the whole stage.
Chris Chan made a large amount of levels for Little Big Planet.
No way.
Yeah, he made one that is like autism simulator, and it's
Don't touch me.
it's a lot.
That's too loud.
But
I don't know what to say in this social situation.
Don't look me in the eye.
That's the thing for me for DualSense 5 or DualSense because that's the PS5 one. There's not enough added to it for me to care. Like like I say, haptic feedback is cool, and like the rumble because it does have the HD rumble to it as well, like a Switch controller does. But like your battery life still sucks. Why is there a giant LED light?
We're
right
talking
in the middle
about what?
the PS5 one, which has a lot of the same problems as the PS4 one. Like that's why to me
I know this is
they're
super
all
hot
just
take.
kind of the same.
Super hot take, but when I was playing Last of Us 2 on BJ's PS5, I didn't like it. I didn't like how it. I mean, it's got so narrow at the ends. I just didn't like it. I don't like the feel of it.
Yeah, the curve is a bit dramatic on the post that you hold on to.
I don't know.
To me, like PlayStation, I don't. And again, this could be like the biggest hot take because I know we could say this and someone would be like, actually, PlayStation controllers would be completely flamed on this, but they've all just kind of stayed consistently the same. There's nothing been added or taken away or whatever that has changed my opinion of them. It's like the PS5
and a
feels
lot
like
of
the
my
same.
opinions also have to do with the games I played. Like I did not like a lot of like like in Last of Us Part 2, like in your battery run out, you'd have to go like
Yeah.
like and I know that that's not the controller, but it's like part of it, the fact that
It's like, oh, we got to include this because the controller can do a thing.
yes, and I was like, or like the whole thing where they include like with the PlayStation is that whole like thing about experience the DualShock sense, like little like.
I mean, the Astrobot game, the tech demo thing they include, is really fucking good. And
because it utilizes the PS5 controller directly. Like that's why, like if any PS5 controller is gonna be PlayStation controller is gonna be the best one, to me it would be the 5. The problem is nobody does anything with it. Like they have these haptic controllers.
when have you ever used the IR blaster on a Joy-Con?
What's the thing?
Like
It's
all
like,
that shit is useless.
It's like the idea is cool there, and like
That's what the little black part on the top is.
like the thing.
What is that? Would that be used for?
I think it's only ever been used in 1-2 switch, where you can like hold up a number and it'll be like, oh, he's holding up 2 fingers. You gotta guess.
The
Like, I didn't need a controller to hold up 2 fingers in my pocket and have somebody guess what.
The only thing, and again, it doesn't bring it up above the DualShock 4 or whatever. Like all the PlayStation controllers are just kind of the same. The one thing that I would give the DualSense is like those triggers, where it's like, oh, I can play like an FPS, and it's like pressing the trigger on a shotgun is gonna feel different than pressing the trigger on a assault rifle. Like they have it where there is a difference in feel to those if you turn it on. Some games you can turn it off immediately, but that is a thing, and I'm like, I actually really like that. Like, to the point where I'm like, this is honestly fucking cool.
See, but then at the same time, like, I go to Starfield and, like, or other games, like first-person shooters, and I crank up my, the how far on my Elite controllers so that it's such a short press, and it's so, like, on Armored Core, it's so fucking nice to not have to go the full distance to just, like...
Well, see, then that's the thing, is you could, like... If that's a bonus on that, then it's a bonus on the PlayStation 5 controller. You can turn that off, so it's like you can just still use the regular thing. Or you
but he still has a long press. That's
now,
what I'm
then
saying.
at that point, then I can be the one to bring it. Like you've used it a little bit. The PlayStation 5 Dual Sense Edge.
Is that their Elite one?
Yeah, it's the one, and that's the only one I have. I don't have a regular PlayStation 5 controller. I sold it for the Edge.
My biggest problem with PlayStation controllers is that I'm forced to use them. And if Sony would just stop filleting their own cocks and put their games on PC in a timely manner, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Because like I would say if any of the PlayStation controllers are getting an S, it's gonna be the DualSense Edge, just because all the shit you talk about that the Elite controller has, the Edge has.
Really?
It's got trigger stops. It's got back pedal. It's actually
but the
got
Elite
it's
feels
not. Yeah,
so
but it's
much
not
better.
an Elite controller.
What I was saying. If
I was using it for 16, I thought it was the Mad Cats of PS5 controllers.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It didn't feel good to me.
I was the opposite. Where
the
I got
PlayStation
a
5 is called the DualShock Sense. Yeah, Sense.
DualSense.
DualShock Sense.
It's called
It's just DualSense.
Okay.
to me the Edge is better than the regular, but that is what it is.
Okay, so DualShock Sense. Where are we putting that?
DualSense.
DualSense.
Hey, it's the same as the rest of them, really. There's not enough good to outweigh its bad, but then it's
better than the PS3 controller.
It's probably to me at least on par with the PS4.
DualSense. There you go.
We already put Joy-Con in D.
We didn't do
Nintendo
Switch Pro.
S.
S for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Here's the thing. No controller I have had has lasted nearly as long as my day one Smash Bros. Pro controller that I bought when Smash Bros. Came out, and I've still had that controller to this day, and I've not had to change it out, have to do anything about it. I've never had to fix it. It just works.
And here's another little thing that I loved is that it had USB Type-C while the Xbox One still had micro.
And PS4 still had micro.
I mean, I've said it before in this episode, but the cables they give you for those controllers will last literally fucking forever. That's another great thing about them. You never have to worry about replacing even just a USB-C for those.
I feel like that's just a USB-C thing, though, because I feel like I haven't had to replace any USB-C cables in my house.
I've had a couple that were just like, okay, I need a charger.
I'm gonna add one out of left field that I almost have a contender for S. Fucking Stadia controller is so goddamn good.
It does feel really nice.
It is ridiculously good for being a $60 package that you pay for both, like the Chrome, like, you know, thing that goes into Chromecast and a controller. I love that controller.
I mean,
especially
the finish on the surface is impeccable. It has a little bit of texture.
Did you return yours to get your money back?
No, I still have it.
Okay.
I still have
Doesn't it technically just be used as like, because they took off
they literally
Yeah.
There's a website you go to that updates the actual firmware of the controller to now be just a normal Bluetooth controller, and I can use it on my PC. I can use it on my phone. I love the Stadia controller. It feels.
I'll deter to you to that one. I don't know. I haven't played it and used it. Really.
I mean, I can grab it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it.
Do it. I saw one at McKay's yesterday, and it kind of made me laugh. But
you want another controller that we could probably go ahead and put down a D tier?
What's that?
Steam controller.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night, and Matt pulled up a picture of it, and he was like, "Ew, what is that?"
I actually want to get it for Steam Deck to see if like certain games would run better on it.
We used to have them at GameStop in droves.
Really? Damn.
We used to have a shitload of them. And
Did
then
you see they're starting to take pre-owned Steam Decks at GameStop?
I didn't see that. That's interesting.
And it looks so good.
See, so this is going to be the kicker for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked this controller.
I'm not saying it's S.
I'd say,
It's
but it's like hot.
so
I'd put it in S.
I mean, I'm almost there.
To
like
me,
the
to me,
D-pad feels amazing. The
Like, can I see it?
curvature on these is nearly perfect.
It's
could be
almost
the
like a
kicker.
Pro controller.
Yeah,
It's very similar.
it's like slightly thinner, but it's otherwise almost nearly exactly the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much an S. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's such a good.
It's like basically perfect for me. Like this, opposite of what the PS5, it gets bigger at the end.
It gives you more to grip on. I hate the fact that it gets smaller and it like I feel my hand slipping down it.
See, now I don't have that problem. I've never felt my hand slipping down.
I
the PS5
was
controller.
sweating during getting angry from Last of Us 2, dude.
That's your emotions getting to you. That's not the controller's fault.
That's true.
But that's
You-
clearly
you-
what
you
Sony
really-
wants is for your emotions to get the better of you in a game.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you threw a chair. All right, we can't blame.
I did, but
we
the
can't blame
fact
the
is
controller for
that
your
if
chair.
the issue is
if the
your
controller
hands
was
get
better,
sweaty,
I would throw the controller.
if
not
the
the
controller my hands weren't sweaty, like you can only play when you're relaxed. That's the issue.
That is a very good controller.
It's so good.
Especially now, I'm sure you can get these for hella cheap. They're probably trying to get rid of them. So snatch up one of these when you can.
And it comes with a 3.5 millimeter jack on the bottom.
the only
That's crazy good.
USB-C rechargeable.
This is the only downside. And it's gonna sound weird from like how much I seem to have sucked PlayStation 5's controller's dick.
It even had
But
like
I
with
don't-
it, you had a Google Now button, so you could say like, "Okay, Google, do this," and you could do voice commands with it. Like,
I'm
honestly, fucking.
If I can
dope.
find one of these at a good deal, I think I'll grab one.
the only
I
problem
like
have
the
with
little
it,
orange undercut.
the only problem I have with it, and this is a personal preference for me, I would much rather have offset sticks.
I do. Again, I prefer
that is 100% a preference thing for me, not necessarily the quality of the controller, but like that's one of the reasons why like
the
anytime
trigger
trigger feels good.
So ridiculously good.
To me it's still like Series 2 Elite controller is the best. Pro controller like right under it, and then like Wavebird.
I'm gonna put Stadia on S because I love the Stadia.
I won't
we're
argue
all
with
in
it.
agreement there.
I won't argue with it. Of the like, which I guess now that's a third party controller.
Technically
Yeah,
true.
technically now. That's probably the best one you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean it's very quality.
Did you see the new 8-bit Do controller that basically looks like a fucking Pro controller, but it can work for Xbox and PC and Switch?
No.
It comes with a charging stand.
Did you know that
so I
8-bit
actually
Do
might
also
do one
sends an adapter? It sells an adapter for Xbox controllers to add
To work for the Switch.
to the Switch.
Yeah.
That adds it adds
gyro. How
feature.
the fuck does it work?
That's
How
crazy.
does it?
In the module that you put in
Okay.
it adds a gyroscope because the Xbox doesn't come with that.
Well, the new one might. They said the new because they're the.
But anyway, so
That would be about the only thing they could add at this point.
Well, that's the thing is apparently the only I feel like that if they add everything they say they're adding, if that's the case, it's gonna be the best controller because it's literally taking everything the PS5 controller can do, which is the haptic triggers, the HD rumble, gyro, all the crazy shit the PS5 controller can do, but now in an Xbox style. And if they don't fuck it up too much, because I saw what it looks like and I'm like, I need to hold it, but that could be like the best controller for next gen shit. But no,
All
yeah,
right.
to me, it's you want to go down the list. Just go
I would
ahead.
like to go down the list.
So you want to start from the worst and go to the best, or just go down? Okay.
Yeah, because the one I have on top is an S tier. It's an S tier controller. So let's go Steam controller.
Oh, I was saying you want to go through like what we've already ranked, but okay, no, because we're already at 2 hours.
This is such a fun episode.
Yeah, no, let's go.
I'm
Okay.
having this is what I've been wanting, is this like constant engagement from all of us. It's not like you talk about Yakuza and I feel like I can't engage and I'm like, well, I'll just sit here and I can't be on my phone because I have the cameras
Hey,
on.
we're gonna live stream the Yakuza thing, right? Or record it? Or reactions to it?
I think we can record it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, record it was what I meant.
Thankfully,
obviously.
we got the 6 studio space.
But,
Okay.
Steam controller. We were talking about that as I think you went to the bathroom.
So
whatever.
here, it had a gyroscope, just like a Switch controller. Had 2 trackpads, and it was a convex shape.
Yeah, it was like it looks weird.
It looks weird.
Terrible.
But didn't you say that it was actually kind of comfortable to hold?
Yeah, we used to have a ton of them at GameStop, like I was telling Luke just now. But like it felt like even when you're looking at it in your hand, like holding it with one hand, you're like, this is gonna suck. And then you put your hands on it and you're actually like, fiddling.
Because I
around with
like
it.
the fact that grips get bigger at the end. It gives you something to hold on to.
Because
all grips get smaller, and I don't understand that.
with that controller specifically, it feels like it kind of wraps around the ball of your thumb, and then your thumb is just naturally placed exactly where it needs to be to
Like
get
right in the middle.
Yeah. It feels like almost disgustingly good.
Like,
for
so,
how
like, A
ugly
tier.
and shitty it is. Honestly, I think A
But
is.
I feel like the fact that it's trackpads brings it down to B.
Well,
But Steam's trackpads are the best on the planet.
yeah, I was gonna say like if it's anything like the Steam Deck's trackpads, that shit is next level.
The Steam Deck trackpads are essentially just square versions of those.
Yeah.
it's
hey,
weird. I mean, I guess I have to play. Well,
to me,
I
it would
have
be-
to try it.
That's
because to
another
me,
thing. I've never actually played a game
I
with
feel like it would be because, like, obviously it's helpful for games where they're like, well, you have to use a mouse, like an actual
having
like
a
cursor
trackpad for that. Yeah,
a cursor, and that's why it's helpful.
I've wanted to get
But
one,
like
to,
for like
test out
me
games like
running
Dragon
through
Age
a
or shit.
level on like playing a first person shooter where I'm trying to get like a little up and down movement or left and precise movement, I feel like it'd be harder.
Yeah, I can
Especially when
definitely
like
see
I'm
that.
gripping tight.
I feel like it's more of like a genre controller, if that makes sense. Like you can't really use it on like Battlefront, Call of Duty type shit. But if you're playing like I don't know,
Civ.
fucking Tropico, Civ, City Skylines, it's gonna be fucking incredible.
Or even like playing like older, like playing like the PC ports of like Dragon Age or Knights of the Republic that are meant to be mouse and keyboard, having the ability to like put things to certain buttons and then having the trackpad be the mouse still, I think would be great.
All right, so
yeah.
I'm putting it A.
Yeah,
I think that fits.
All right, next one are Wii peripherals.
fucking D.
I was saying D2. It doesn't make sorry. I was gonna say C because they're not the worst. Because at the time you'd put them on and it would make it a little bit more enjoyable.
There's 2 Wii peripherals that I ever had and actually like felt enhanced the game. One of them was
The Zapper,
well,
like the gun thing from crossbow training that you use. for
kind
other
of, but
games.
not really.
Okay.
So the first one was like actual boxing gloves that had like leather like placements
Yeah, I know
for
those.
those. And using those on Punch Out felt really good. And then the other one, which is a variant of the Wii Zapper, but in Rayman Raving Rabbids, they had those like on rail segments, and they made a plunger gun one where you just
Yes.
you just slap the Wii remote on the top of it. That felt really nice.
Well, like and,
Playing
like,
Link's
it
crossbow
didn't make
training
it-
was actually kind of fucking cool though.
It didn't
Like,
make it worse. Like it would be like if you
Yeah.
had them and you were playing Wii Sports
Well,
and you're like, okay, let's do.
It was
Wii.
either the same or incrementally better.
Yeah, because you had like a bat in your hands, and that like it was the whole Wii immersion thing. They're like, you can swing it like a bat, and then you're like, well, if I have a bat, that that's what I'm saying. I think they were so pointless,
I'll give it C.
but I
Yeah.
think it did it. Like I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like you know, I was rarely that's where I felt about those. All right, again to people watching and listening. I'm not including every of these weird controllers. I made a list of ones that I wanted to talk about. We already talked about the power gloves. But all right, I'll go down. The DDR mat.
DDR mat is like Well, which DDR mat?
That's true.
Is it like the fabric one?
That's the one I have the most memories on.
I'm putting that in
That-
like
Because that's the one you could buy.
yeah. When you bought the console version of the game, that's the one that it always came.
And
with.
it had that crinkle. You know that like
that like weird fabric in the middle. It was like
yes, that's the one I'm
The
talking
only
about.
DDR mat that I had was for the Super Mario Brothers one,
hell yeah.
and that was the only DDR one I had. And
I'm
it was for
gonna
Super-
throw that in B.
I
if,
agree.
If it was like the professional ones that they sell, fucking S tier. Those
for
shits
sure.
are just the things from the arcade.
No,
Well,
I'm
it's-
talking about the one that came, the one with the crinkle mat.
Yeah, I'd say B on that.
Okay.
Same for the weird NES runner one.
Yeah. Okay. Slime controller, Dragon Quest.
Which they have a variant of every console. Since,
Well, they have ones for the Wii, not the Wii.
they've got a
The
PS2
Switch.
one. There's a Switch one.
and then PlayStation has them.
Yeah. And I desperately want that Switch one. It does not look comfortable whatsoever.
It
Because
feels.
you have
I
to-
heard somebody say it feels like you're holding a bowling ball.
Yeah, because you have to hold the slime upside down.
Ew.
And like, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
But I still really want it. And there's another controller coming up that I want even more.
Which is
You'll see
what?
when we get there. I mean, I know it's
Oh.
on your list, but that controller is like
yes. Yeah.
it's like a holy grail to me. Like I would just love to have that slime and just break it out at parties.
But I feel like it's
No, you bring it
it's-
up like, hey, do you got a controller? Yeah, I do.
Where did all
would
the
say-
hose go?
I feel like it'd be
My
B.
brother in Christ, you're
like
scaring the hose.
for like the cool factor. That's the only thing that brings it up.
I mean, yeah, like
for
it's
everything else. But to be fair, it almost is better. It's a little bit better. Like there's aspects of it that are better than Joy Cons.
Yeah, I mean, I
probably
totally
doesn't
agree with
drift.
that. I bet that shit for arthritis people is incredible. I bet people fucking search out the Dragon Quest slime controllers if
I
they
would
got
put it
arthritis.
B.
I would also say B because it doesn't look very fun to use, but I love it all the same.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
All right, cool. All right, next one I have is the Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Which we already did.
Yes, the next one would be all of the Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and DJ Hero.
Some music peripherals for that one.
I'm putting them shits in S tier.
It felt so good to use.
I will put Guitar Hero at S. I'll put the rest at B.
I mean, I
the
think
drums are still cool, like
the-
for Rock Band.
the
I actually
drums
liked them.
were really nice in my opinion. I think all the Guitar
But
Hero
okay,
guitars.
I'll concede to the rest. The drums being A. The guitar is
Yeah, well, the
S tier.
guitar,
The
S
guitar
tier.
is S tier.
Nothing felt
for
nothing like because
sure.
you could technically like play them with a controller because there was a controller scheme. Fuck that. You're gonna be strumming that shit,
I mean, they're still
standing up and like fucking.
Oh, it
yeah.
feels so. I mean,
You were like you're strumming, like you're sitting there hitting the thing, pressing the buttons, like you're a fucking rock
dude,
star.
it's so good. So S tier
there's
for
still
sure.
a market for like custom Guitar Hero
Oh,
controllers.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
'cause,
there are.
what
Where
is
they
it?
like put custom switches in.
What was it?
Yeah,
just
and
like
just like Bluetooth shit.
or like and then like fighting games. Like people want like nice keyboard that you can actually put like.
You put keyboard switches in
Switches
there.
I would
yeah.
love to do an episode where we just review people's fight pads.
That'd be
fun
so
too.
sick. That's another thing for third party controllers. If you like, what do you guys? I don't know if you have any on there, but just like portable arcade fight pads.
I didn't put fight pads because they're all different, and there's so many variations and so many generations.
They're-
And
they're-
I have no
there is
detailed knowledge to give
there's
information.
it's
about.
not really a fight pad, so it's not like a arcade fight stick, but there's a Tekken or Pokken, sorry.
Oh, the Pokken
fight-
controller.
Yeah,
I
which
remember
basically
that
looks
was-
like a Genesis controller with the 6 buttons.
That was
Yeah.
really nice. I have that controller
That
somewhere.
apparently I read, and I could be wrong, but someone was like got it working on like PC, and they're like, "Yo, this is perfect for just Tekken."
It
like,
works
straight
on
up.
Switch too.
Yeah.
You can just plug it in and it works.
Okay, yeah, it's literally a controller that just has a D-pad and then 6 buttons. It's the
Yeah.
what we had, but it was made for Pokken tournament, and it's apparently like a decent one to use for fighting games.
So the next one I have, or there are two, they're in the same vein, but I do think one is better than the other, is we have the Xbox Kinect and the PlayStation Move.
So
I feel like the Kinect would be more closer to that. Do you remember the PlayStation
PlayStation,
iToy?
sorry. There's
I
PlayStation.
love the iToy.
Sorry, I meant PlayStation iToy and
Okay.
Xbox Kinect.
Because the
And
PS
then there's the
Move was
PlayStation
was
Move,
the
which is
the-
let's just say the PlayStation
shit.
Move is like fucking D tier.
I'm putting iToy in A
Hey.
tier.
I love the iToy, dude. That thing would like you're on screen doing all the crazy
Swatting
shit.
monkeys away from
Yeah,
your
But
fucking
you
plate.
still did the same thing with the Kinect.
Kinect was not nearly as
Dude, do you remember?
like-
Have you seen the announcement? Like it was like the like whole like presentation they gave.
for the
Kinect?
Kinect just in general.
Ashley Tisdale from High School Musical. They had Usher perform live doing a Just Dance performance where he had 2 backup dancers doing the Just Dance move with the Just Dance like screen behind that was like perfect, good.
Have you seen
It's so fucking cringy. And Todd, what's his? Not Todd Howard. I don't know.
It was Don Matrick was
Yeah.
was the CEO at
and
the
he
time.
was like, "This is gonna change gaming forever."
or no, it wasn't Don Matrick. Who was the Don Matrick was Xbox One. I don't know who the 360 Connect era was, but
Have you guys seen the photos?
Who's the guy who does the Game Awards?
oh, Jeff Keighley.
It was Jeff Keighley.
Oh, damn.
I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Keighley, and he's like, "This is amazing." So it
To be
was.
fair, that man just gets hype about everything. Let's be honest.
So, PlayStation IA.
The Kinect, I'd put it like B. Like it's fine, but like I feel like there were.
I didn't do anything. The only thing the Kinect was used for that I actually used it for was voice control. And at the
I
same
never
time,
even used it for
you would
that.
have friends come over, and you'd be playing like, I'd be playing like Titanfall 1, and they'd be like, "Xbox, turn off."
We used it for Just Dance, but even then, I feel like I preferred the Wii version because it felt better to have the controller in my hand.
That's
It was easier
true.
to tell what was
the thing
going
is,
on.
the Kinect, at least the one for 360. I don't know how well the one for Xbox One was, but the 360 Kinect wasn't that good at like actually like reading your movements.
Well, BJ was telling me people still use like the newer Gen Kinects for full body tracking on
like
VR
VTubing and
chat.
shit, or VR chat and stuff. But yeah, because like the new Kinect was actually good. They just never did anything with it because people didn't like it. That was the thing. That was
Well,
the
because
thing.
they were forcing you to use it. I think that was the biggest problem.
Yeah, it was just forced with it, and then like it would always be on, type shit. So that's why people would just unplug it and throw it in the fucking closet. And be like, I'm not dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'd say Kinect to be
B tier.
B.
All right. Next one I have is going to. Oh, we talked about PlayStation Move.
Yeah, the D.
D tier.
It was worse Wii remotes.
My family still references the stupid iToy game about washing windows to this day.
Because it was the thing, just the iToy like disc that had like 7 different games on it.
And then the other, I think it might have been the only other game that ever came out for it was Sega Superstars.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. The next one I have is the Donkey Konga Bongos.
Reggie,
I never
love,
owned them.
I love, by the way,
We have the disc.
Reggie.
Kevin has it for some reason from like some church garage sale. And he was like, "Dude, we should play this game." And I was like, "You need the bongos."
We can get the bongos at MTAC. They always have them. Or that fucking place in Columbia.
Game Exchange.
Apparently, Reggie Fils-Aimé was on a podcast or somewhere talking about what's like the one thing from Nintendo that either like I forget they said that was like that you hated, and he goes, Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. It was a game that I thought was stupid. It's never gonna sell, and then all of a sudden it sold out immensely for the GameCube. And he's like,
Because it was first party Nintendo.
it was first party Nintendo with a weird ass fucking gimmick for kids. Yeah, and he was like, I didn't get it. I thought this was the dumbest thing. We're gonna lose money on this, and no, it was a hit. And he's
Those
like,
are the bongo games.
yeah, there was one for GameCube, one for Wii. And I think it was the one Donkey Konga was the GameCube one, and then Barrel Blast was Wii.
It was like a weird racer where you still had to do bongos with the thing.
Yeah, you had to like press the bongos in certain order to do. It was like, what the fuck?
Don't they have for the Switch games? What's that Japanese game that's all about?
Taiko.
Oh, Taiko no Tatsujin. Taylor has an imported version of that with the drum.
Yeah, because those came with a drum as well.
The thing with
I'd say that's like fucking C or D.
Taiko, the
bongos.
Taiko,
The Taiko ones are really nice. I would put
Taiko ones I
those
put
in
like
A.
B or A. But then the Donkey Konga, yeah, probably C.
Just
or D.
because it's a rhythm game built around.
Oh
it.
no, you've been saying Donkey Konga.
Donkey Konga probably C or D.
Yeah,
They're dumb.
I mean, 'cause
the Taiko no.
you're using them for a fucking platformer and
Yeah.
a racing game. So
Yeah.
why are they bongos?
The Taiko are meant for a rhythm game, and it's a rhythm game that's not just hit the drum a bunch. It's hit the drum, hit the side. Like you can hit the side of it, and that counts as a different note than hitting the drum. So there's like different.
You can really like get some basics of taiko drumming from that
like
game.
it's So that one, I don't know if it's even on there, but that one I would put actually like A or B. Like it's actually a solid controller for what it's for.
All right,
Donkey Konga was dumb.
the next one is the Wii Balance Board.
Fucking F tier.
Yeah, one below D. Like
18 Zumba games, and you step on it, and it just tells you you're a fat cunt and your balance sucks.
Bro, no, it did, and then like it was straight up just like you'd step on it and be like,
You are obese.
You need to lose some fucking weight.
Bro, everybody's mom had one.
It would give you a pie chart that told you exactly every one of your flaws, and that's fucked up for a video game.
Every single mother I knew had one. My mom.
I mean, we had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was always a thing of like, oh, I'm just my kids have the Wii, might as well try to everyone.
I
So there was
remember-
always a balance board somewhere in the house.
After I had my muscle biopsy on my leg, they had one at my physical therapist, and I was like, I'm not playing that shit. I'm gonna bring Punch Out next time. We're gonna play that, and that's exactly what I did. And they were like, we're gonna get a copy of this because
Is that for the Switch or the Wii?
Yeah. Punch Out for the Wii is actually really good.
such a good game.
It's
Wii
really
boxing though. Hell yeah.
Wii Boxing is good. Punch Out is like
Even
if they
better.
extrapolated that into a full game. It's
Dope.
it's awesome.
All right. So
if
in the
I can get it
same
on the Wii, we're gonna
vein
play it.
of the balance board, we have the Nintendo Ring Fit.
Dude,
It's technically a peripheral.
it is a peripheral, but I will say this.
I mean, it does
that shit
have its own inputs.
legitimately because I did it.
I
'cause
would
when
say-
Granger was
I'd
at the
say it's
Granger,
B.
I'd say B, but like, dude,
It's
that
better than the balance board.
that shit is a workout.
So BJ, did you watch with us the GDQ
I
Ring
didn't.
Fit Adventure?
yeah, dude
Where the
was
guy's like, and he also obese man.
And he's it looks like he's like trotting through mud the whole time. He's just like
Yeah, slowly doing his legs. He's like 1, 2, 1.
He's wearing,
but the
like-
whole time he's going.
he's wearing like basketball shorts. And it's such a weird
Oh my
spectator
gosh,
sport.
I did because Granger was at our GameStop.
I need to hit Granger
showing
up.
that up.
I need to be like, hey Granger, I need those fucking Xenoblade amiibo.
I was like doing it, and he was like, it is a bit of work. And I'm like, it's a fucking like Switch game. Who cares? And I was doing it, and by the end, I was like, holy fuck, what the fuck? What the fuck? And he's like, yeah.
In the same vein, apparently the fitness boxing games on the
Fist
Switch.
of the North Star. Fucking, did you see that?
There's
shit?
that one. They're making a Miku one now, and then there's 2 core titles. Apparently, they're really good.
I've low key wanted to do it. The problem is that like I know it's gonna be like I'm gonna do this to get healthy, and I'm gonna play like twice and then not do anything with it.
I mean, if you put Miku in it, they'll probably stick with it a little longer than that.
Do one for Yakuza where I get to do it to all the Yakuza tracks. Then I'll be fire.
Then the next one I have is Tony Hawk Ride. Absolutely F tier.
That's
worst.
the worst.
So everyone like, oh, it was so bad. I tried it.
Could not fucking function
It couldn't.
at all. Like
the
holy
best use
shit.
of that skateboard thing was when
You wanted to practice doing an ollie on your carpeted floor.
no, it was that one YouTube channel. I can't remember, but they used to do this series called Skate Everything, and they took one of those boards and drilled trucks into it and actually skated it at a park.
Oh yeah, I love that channel. Yeah.
It's like cool. Yeah, F tier. That shit's bad.
Yeah.
Like worse than everything we put at D tier. That because it just didn't work. Like
It
Tony Hawk
didn't work.
Ride just didn't
And then
fucking
the
work.
inputs,
And there
'cause-
wasn't enough of a lip to actually do anything.
Well, like
on
the
it.
problem is like to ollie you would lean back on it like fast, and then to manual you had to lean up on it slow. I mean, you can't do like like Skate. There's so many grab tricks and all that, and you couldn't do all of those.
Yeah.
It was really bad, and they put in so much money. They're like, this is gonna be the new.
This will be the new
thing.
way you do.
It's gonna be revolutionary.
All right, the next one I have. There's a brief
these
one that I
nuts.
have. I don't know. Have you guys heard of the NES U-Force?
No.
I don't think so.
So it essentially was like for like
U is in just the letter U?
yes.
Okay.
So it was for like a couple games, and I was telling BJ about this last night. They made it after the NES, and then they're like, we're gonna try to develop a way for it to work with other games that are out already, and so it would have.
Fuck is that?
Yes, it looked like when you play Battleship, and it was the one half of the
Dude.
Battleship screens. And so it used like infrared light and receivers, and so it would play Punch Out, and you'd have to add peripherals to the peripheral, where like it was the Punch Out power bar, which was a little bar you put over the infrared receiver that turned the infrared receiver with a mirror looking up, so you would see like a punch, and then another punch on left and right. And then for Top Gun, it gave you like flight sticks, and you would be able to turn the direction.
The flight stick,
yes.
yeah.
And then what was really crazy is when you push the buttons, it wasn't connected to anything. It just used reflective light from IR stuff. And when you push the buttons on the bottoms of those little the flight sticks, it would have a flap that would turn a reflective infrared panel. It was all mechanical, so that the infrared light would see, it would have it would register that and register as you pressing in the guns. I think that's
The infrared,
other than it's dumb. It's super dumb.
it's very dumb, but it's cool.
It's
and
very
the infrared
cool.
technology on the NES was like way ahead of its time for a home console.
It's true. I mean, I still think it's like C tier, but
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say about C.
yeah. What I even forgot U-Force. Now we're gonna get to the very end, and there we have two more. One of them, number 2 that I have is the ASCII keyboard controller for GameCube.
Triple S.
Dude, for one game, which was Fantasy Star Online, and
I've wanted that controller as long as I've known it exists.
I want it so bad.
It's
Yeah.
this big.
It's this,
dude.
and then you suddenly have full functioning keyboard, dog.
Full functioning controller.
Yeah.
You can plug it into a regular game and just have that part work.
Dude, S tier. I agree. It's so wild though that they made it just for one game.
Well, to be fair, it is because like
They did the same thing on the DS. They made a DS keyboard that only worked with Pokemon typing.
Did you ever add the like keyboard peripherals to any of your controllers?
I had one on the 360 because it was easier than like doing the headphone thing. I could just plug anything into the jack.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
wasn't it like the almost like the
I had the
keypad
one
from like a
yeah.
Nokia almost.
I had the one for the PlayStation 3 that was also, it was really cool because if you got the one branded for it, it was before the PlayStation 4. I mean, it was the transition was it would sense you running your finger over it like a trackpad. It had trackpad functionality where the key would depress from you putting your finger over, but it wouldn't click, and it would sense the depression and it would be used like a trackpad. And then they transitioned to a full trackpad in the PlayStation 4 controllers.
I mean, I'm sure that's where they got the blueprint for that
Yeah.
one.
So that's the only one I had was for PlayStation 3, but because I had a headset, I would just do voice chat with friends.
I mean, I had the 360 one because I don't remember why, because we all had headsets, but we'd send a lot of text messages over Xbox.
You dumb fuck. And then, well, now that we're ending, I mean, we're already at 2 hours and 33, but this next one is triple S tier. And it's the Steel Battalion Xbox original controller.
Yeah,
It's
I would love for us to be able to demo one of those.
It's the coolest thing of all time. It came with three separate pieces. You have the foot pedals, which had 3 pedals. You had Oh no, it might even be 4. At least because you had your 2 control sticks.
And then there was like a side. There might have been 2 side panels for the console, and then the pedals.
Yeah, it had, and then on it you would have like, you would select power to different things to make you like do fast. And then the coolest part was in the game, you'd have to start over the game if your mech got destroyed, you'd have like 10 seconds to eject.
There was a big
red eject button and then if you didn't do that, your player died and you would have to start the game over from the beginning, which is fucking brutal.
People are still updating those to work on every Xbox since then.
Really?
And I would kill to find an Armored Core 6 control scheme to work with that.
There's one that works for I think it's the same because it's you said Steel Battalion, right?
Yeah.
They have like control schemes I think for what's the Ace
Attorney.
Ace Combat. Yeah,
Objection!
Punching the fucker in the face.
Just beat the shit out of Edgeworth in the courtroom.
There's some. I mean, there's
Ace Combat.
Yeah, someone I saw that the same control scheme has it for working for Ace Combat, even though it's a plain game, not a fucking whatever. But
that's pretty dope, though.
Yeah, dude, an Armored Core 6, fucking
dude, that would give me such a hard on, like dodging an attack and just being like,
just being able to be like I'm really in a mech.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the coolest thing. I mean, they sell, I think, new in box is like $400. You can find them cheaper, like open box shit or used, but new in box is around $400.
We had a flight stick kind of controller at GameStop for the longest time because of Ace Combat 7.
I remember that.
Would not fucking sell until one dude came in and he's like all about simulation games. He's like, I need that shit right now. I'm like, okay, fine, take it. He also bought the Ferrari steering wheel.
Oh yeah.
I know those.
That shit was also dumb as fuck, which that sat on that shelf and collected dust for years.
I mean, I think I remember when it came in.
Like that shit was just sitting there, and I remember DJ trying to sell it once, and he's like, "Hey, we have the," like, nah,
nope.
And then finally it went clearance. This dude who's a regular, like day hit clearance. Hey, I checked the line. I saw that the Ferrari wheel is on sale. I'm like, yeah, it's for about this way. I want it. I'm like, okay.
You got it.
Well, those are controllers for you. This has been a good long episode.
Indeed.
I'm hungry.
Me
I'm
too.
also hungry.
Dude, Costco stir fry.
Let's go.
Hell yeah, brother.
So good.
Shout out to the sponsor, W.
W.GG.
Coupon code Take It Sleazy.
All one word, 10% off. We love them. I just got a new shipment in. I was really worried I was going to have any this week.
Oh, new W?
Yeah.
I have to grab my shaker from the car.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still have the black one in your car?
I think it's somewhere in there.
Cool.
I have to go clean my car out at some point.
For sure. You know, just trying to keep it accounted for because I also leave buttons in my car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I went into the kitchen like this morning. I was like, where are our shakers? We have like 4. So yeah, use that code. We're putting out video, putting out TikToks.
Follow
Check us out.
All the socials. We should have a link tree. You have the link tree in like the?
It's everywhere.
Yeah. So should be able to find it. If not, SideQuest Productions on YouTube. And as always,
Take it sleazy.